Oh. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Friday night's Boys from the Baltic Star. I remember to turn the music off this week, so we're already doing better than we have done before. Hey, Spez, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. All of you, all you fine viewers. I had a dream last night where we were streaming, and then suddenly loads of people turned up. Then I freaked out and didn't know what to do. So be careful what you wish for, streamers. Be careful what you wish for. I have something like so yes. So enjoy what you have and just appreciate the finer things. Like we've got Sparrow. What more do we need tonight? We've got a Sparrow, and we've got everyone else lurking and hanging out. Thank you, the lurkers. We love the lurkers. We love our chatters. We love each other. I'm feeling very Barney right now. I love you. You love me. Yes, this is Boys from Baltic Star. If you're still here. We are it is the only regular Traveller Twitch stream. We stream Traveller every Friday night, and tonight is Friday, so we're streaming Traveller. Sometimes we stream on Saturday, but we don't talk about that. And that's what we're doing now. Traveller is a science fiction roleplay game based in the world of science fiction, the universe of science fiction, which has both science and fictional sides to it. We enjoy both. And it's a campaign that's been going on for a while. We're into season 2, in fact, just a few episodes in. If you're interested, if you watch this and go, oh, I like this, but I have no idea what's going on, then we've got a few catch-ups. If you go back to our old videos, our highlight section, we save all our old stuff. Ben did an amazing one. We'll talk about Ben in a minute. A couple of weeks ago, where he looked at season 1 and what we did before season 1 and covers it all in like 21 minutes. Making me feel that I've wasted 2 years of my life as it's done in like 20 minutes. So that's a really good catch up. If you like that and you want a bit more meat on the bones, we've got a couple of like 2 and a bit hour long bits where we look at the 40 episodes of the first season. That's worth watching. That's quite fun as well, and that gives you more information. If it is your first time, please consider following us on Twitter @BoysBaltic. Consider following us here if you like what you see, or like what you hear, or like what's happening. Ben is very good at being concise Sparrow, and he's got that lovely voice that everyone loves. We're on Instagram as well, Boys from the Baltic Star. If it is your first time, you are very, very welcome. We really appreciate it that you offer any minutes of your day to watch us. It's crazy. It blows our minds all the time. There's so many things that you could be doing and watching. Please don't go do them now you're here. Don't take that as a reason. No. Yes. Forget that anything else exists. And hang out for any of it. We do appreciate it. We love our lurkers. Thank you for hanging around. Even if you've sort of gone off doing things but leaving the screen open. That's nice. Thank you. Thank you for those that listen while they're doing other things. Thank you that pop in from time to time. Thank you to our regulars like Sparrow. Thank you to our chatters. We appreciate chat. You don't have to. We're all about consent here. Don't do anything you don't want to do. But if you do chat, we will chat back. Generally, it's me or you and whoever's not most involved in the action at any one time will tend to get on the typing, and we break the fourth wall a bit. So hopefully you guys are okay with that. If not, so be it. So we might bring things in. If you look at that little red sun underneath the chat box, of course, that is the Imperial credits. Feel free to spend them. You can't take them with you. The sound seemed to be wonky last week. I hope that's been fixed because I missed out on Ewan's Sexy Boy music last time that played, which was very upsetting. So yeah, feel free. Let's find out. Yeah, I'll drink to that. Oh, I haven't poured my wine yet. I'll drink to that. Dark Catman's got a dark hat like me. I like it. We're like brothers. We're kin. Yes, I think that's everything. Just introductions, then I'll make way for the most important man there is. So first of all, hello, my name is Luke. I'm in the bottom right-hand corner, the blue corner, like all the boxers that tend to lose. I'm here. I play Kara and Soraya. Kara is, they're both 34, because of the way Traveller age works, it works in 4-year chunks. 34 is a prime year for finishing character generation. Kara is an artist, come, I guess, computer. She's into her computer stuff. She's very good at talking and drinking and carousing. So she's that sort of character. She's made of glass. So when combat comes, she'll give it all big. She's like that annoying one in a fight. She'll lean forward and be like, yeah, but me, and then hide behind the beefy guy. And we'll come to that beefy guy in a minute. But people tend to like Kara. She's okay. And then I'm Soraya as well, Soraya Kansari. She was a scout for many years, and so her social skills aren't great. But she seems to get on well with people. She's a jack of all trades, gets her hands dirty, does this and that, loves the buckyball, which is that space cricket. And she's charming in her own way, I feel. And those are my two. And the person who completes our beautiful bubble of playable characters is my friend and my comrade, Ewan. I've got to do the over-the-head fist bump today, Ewan.
Duck Ben.
Duck Ben. Good ducking, Ben. We don't want you to get caught in the crossfire. Ben, Ewan, as always nowadays, is in front of his glorious Grey Hill Bast banner, which fills me with joy every time I see it.
It is wonderful.
It is wonderful. How are you doing today, Ewan?
Pretty good. Pretty good, thanks. I play Agnar, who, actually, speaking of 34 being prime traveller character generation finishing off, it's actually the safe option. It's the hiding in locker
How
stage of
dare you?
character
Hiding in lockers is
generation.
very brave.
Agnar is a 42-year-old Varga, Wolfman, a former general who received extra ranks because he went on longer in character generation, but then also lost all of his strength, so he's pretty weak and not particularly strong. But he is well armored, and he is quite keen on his military tactics and also a bit of medicine, a bit of combat medic training. And I also play Stefan Miller, who is actually a 34-year-old, because I didn't want to push my luck too much. Navy Academy dropout turned space rogue, who is all about the sneaky, stealthy streetwise stuff, as you would expect.
That's why we love him. He's so sneaky, that one. So sneaky. They appear at the top of the screen. If you look, you'll see them. Agnar's up there now. I've realised we never really talked about this, especially if you've just tuned in for the first or second time or something. The top is a bit about the character. So Agnar's up there at the moment. Give you his 6 stats, which is Traveller. There's 6 main stats, like a lot of roleplay. And then the plus is on his best skills, just to give you an idea. And we'll flick through the 4 main characters as the stream goes on. The last person we need to introduce is the man who lives his life 24 hours a day in the Twin Peaks dream sequence. When he's not on stream, he talks backwards, and it takes a lot of concentration to talk the right way round. We used to fix it in post, but it's just getting too complicated. He is the smartest man in any room, and he's not yet blind, which is hooray, which is wonderful news.
It is. Thank you. Yes.
It's Ben.
Yes. Yes. my medical testing yesterday is so far so good.
It's good news. We're pleased to hear it, Ben. Apart from that, how have you been today? I hear you've been catching up on Critical Role and all that sort of malarkey.
I have. I took the opportunity to watch last night's Boys from the Baltic Star stream, of course, because I wasn't able to watch it last night. And I did also catch up on the first 3 episodes of The Legend of Vox Machina.
Oh, The Legend of Ox Machina. It's like Ex Machina, but it's an ox instead of X, is it?
Vox.
Okay.
As in Vox Populi, Vox Deo.
Okay, I got you. Well, I don't watch Critical Role. There's not enough time in my life. But I hope you two enjoy it, because I know you two do, and I hope anyone else that is around that watches it enjoys it. And yeah, I just don't have the time. You can't commit to everything, can you? At the end of the day, you got to pick and choose.
That's right.
So that's that. But I'm glad. But you're feeling refreshed, though, Ben. You're not feeling too tired after all your viewings.
Not too bad, thank you. Not too bad. And I watched a really surprisingly fun movie this evening, so I'm right up for things.
Excellent. It wasn't a movie that involved a massacre of goody soldiers, is it? To get some ideas of how to kill us off tonight?
Yes, it was.
Oh, no. On that bombshell.
Yeah.
Be gentle with us, Ben. We love our characters.
Okay. Well, where we are now. On the barren world of Dilub Rou, an encounter at the Travellers' Aid Society led the party to transport a nun, Sister Sion, along with a collection of supplies to the Priory of Panunzio, a remarkable establishment out in the desert. They were able to carry out this mission because they'd helped their friend Tilon Rack collect a G-carrier from a second-hand dealer in the city of Azurport. Arriving at the Priory, the travellers met Garo Kavarian, a man recovering from an unfortunate industrial accident, one caused by Pan System Power, a company that the second-hand car dealer had also wanted them to approach. They also enjoyed a remarkable spiritual presentation of harmonic chanting at the Priory. While it impressed the group generally, they had to race off to their next objective, as Rack had taken possession of a property called Morse's Pit, and was eager to claim it away from a group of bandits, Lara's band, which was in residence. Rack and the travellers crept to a position from which they could resplendently observe the pit, identifying that it might be a risky mission, as a heavy weapon of some sort was mounted atop the cliff face above the entrance. And that is where we resume the story.
Oh. We were. Rack wanted to wait until night. Did he wanted a nighttime assault?
Yeah. Yes.
Does Varga have good night eyes? Night eyes.
No.
Oh no, we're crying. Oh dear. Well,
No,
he must.
but that's why they make night vision equipment.
That's for Varga. Purely for
For
Varga.
everybody.
Specifically.
Yeah.
A lot of air coming in to keep the main resplendent, not too sticky and stuffy. That's good.
Do we know the
Yes.
general time of day now, Ben?
Yes, it's by the time you made your way out from the priory, and then out to the edge of the lip of the crater overlooking Morse's pit. It's only a few hours to dusk, I would say.
And we've got all our kit and caboodle in the G carrier. Not the kit and caboodle, all our kit and caboodle in the G carrier.
Yes,
The kitten's
all
safe.
of your kit.
kit
Caboodle
and
is
safe.
safe on the Baltic Star,
No,
but
that's the
your
most important
kit,
thing. Yeah.
indeed, is in the G carrier with you.
Cool.
Caboodle is our ship's kitten, for anybody who is not familiar with the tales of Rose's cat.
Very important distinction. We've just been caboodling to take. Don't mind work. Just my cute
There
shit.
you go. There you go.
Just
Kitten, you
wander
deal with
down,
this.
and while they're all like, "Oh, a
We're
kitten,"
going for brunch.
the
Yeah,
claws
so-
on that thing.
So in essence, that's where we find ourselves. And I mean, though there are a number of things you can do while waiting for nightfall, you probably don't have time to get all the way back to Azurport. But you could easily do a trip back to the Priory and reconnect with Garrow, or just use it as a place to have a meal before heading out for the evening.
I don't know. I think. Can we see? Rack's been to the place before. He's at least looked at it when he's bought it, right? I know he's not lived there before, but he must have at least looked at plans, if nothing else.
Yes, he's familiar with the arrangements of it.
Oh. Rack, how many? I'll be Soraya. Rack, how many ways, like doorways, are in? I'm sure there's many ways in, but how many main doorways are there into your place?
Two, both at the ground level, on the floor of the cliff, essentially. The whole thing is built because it's an old mine. There are two entrances dug straight into the cliff face, which are now the main entrances. And the whole structure is inside on a number of levels heading down underground. However, I'm told the lower levels are essentially all sealed off for the time being. It's only the rooms on the main ground level that are functional at the moment. There's no atmosphere or any kind of power or anything down in the mines below.
Theoretically, could there be any lurking around down there or exploring down there when we go in? Is it something we need to be aware of, or?
It's possible, but because they were just sealed off, there's no airlock or anything. So we'd have to be willing to suit up and then flush the entire main level.
Okay.
And then go down there with suit lights and things like that. I mean,
So
I'm not saying no, but that's a bigger project than I think we're geared up for at the moment.
And sounds like more of a project than they're probably doing. Then if there's any lurking around on ground level, there's probably not many. There's probably not any down below.
When we get inside, we'll be able to identify if there's anyone at all realistically able to come and go. Because if those entrance ways down below are still sealed, then there's no one down there.
Yeah,
or at least no one who's expected to come back up again.
Stefan will chirp in at this point and he'll say, if they're quite comfortable and they're just lounging around in your home, I suppose. Say we could get in undetected and then open up one of those entrances into the mine. Wouldn't that deal with your problem rather quickly, painlessly,
Rapidly.
breathlessly?
But for anyone who wasn't already wearing a vac suit, yeah, that might be enough.
I guess we don't know. I guess they could be prepared for such an event.
Yeah, there is essentially the heavy weapon that you guys spotted is mounted atop the upper level of the cliff, overlooking it. So the entrance to the mine is essentially on a more or less vertical sheer face, which forms the front of a step between two different levels of the surface of the planet. Because of where the weapon is put, it has a pretty good field of view over the lower level approaching the front doors.
Yeah.
And they are, as far as Rack knows, the only ways in and out.
Looking through the binoculars, Soraya's got decent binoculars. She's got tech level 12, so they've got all your zoom and all your bits, haven't they? They've got all the stuff.
Yep.
Can we look at that heavy weapon? Is it something that's all enclosed? Is it something that you could potentially... Could there be a route to hoik someone off a seat or something?
Roll a reconnaissance check for me with intellect, please.
I will. Jack of all trades for reconnaissance, and intellect cancels that out. Well, it's not the greatest start. She's not the greatest at these things. 6. That's
A 6.
Classic Soraya Jack of all trades roll, a 6.
Yeah. Well, all you can really tell is that the weapon is seemingly projecting out of the top, not of a sort of established turret or anything, but out of a rather scratch-built, rocky little surround that they've built, like a rock barbette, to assemble the weapon in. So it's like they've built a pit, unable to dig a pit into the rock. They've kind of built a pit for the operator to lurk in around the weapon.
So we can't tell what's in there, but theoretically you could get up to it.
Yeah, I mean, the problem you would have would be being observed as you approach.
Yeah, of course, yes. And if you're going along a cliff top, you're quite visible.
Yeah.
Stefan would say to Soraya, if you're interested, I could potentially lay down some distance cover. What's the range on that thing? Is it more that he'll look at Rack and, I guess, Agnar? Is it more than this and hold up his sniper rifle?
Good question.
There's a sort of bit of a shrug from Rack, and he says, "Truthfully, I don't know. It looks big, but I can't tell exactly what it is. It looks like something they might have ripped off a vehicle and just plonked up there."
Anyway, just a thought.
I know, it wouldn't be bad. We're quite low at the moment. Are we quite low at the minute, Ben, or are we quite high?
Okay, so you remember I told you that the priory is essentially in this splash spire caused by an impact which melts the surface and produces this very hard rocky peak right in the middle of a crater.
Yeah.
Essentially, where you are is in that crater, but right at its edge, where there's also a bit of a lip, and you're tucked in the rock line there, and from there you're looking at the vertical cliff face.
Got you.
Of Morse's pit, so you can see it's not ideal because there's some rock and some scree in front of it, but you can see roughly where the entrances would be.
Yeah.
And then above them, you can see this loose, assembled protective ring of rock
Yeah.
to protect this weapon.
But we're low, so we can't see what's behind that ring, for example.
You're probably on about the same level as the top of the cliff,
Okay.
very roughly.
Does it appear to be quite clear behind? Does there appear to be rocky cover that we can tell? Or does it seem to be quite barren behind?
Give me another recon check, please.
I will. So right,
And
stop asking the questions.
you've got plenty of time here, and it's a fairly easy scan, so you can have a boon for that.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. We love a boon. Big fan of the boon. Need it. Right. I'm rolling flat though. -1 for the jack of all trades, +1 for intellect. Yes, good boon. It's a 335, so we get an 8 out of that.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Strong boon.
The surface of Dilub Rou in this area, where it isn't cratered and pocked by impacts, is really quite smooth. Though there are little cracks and crevasses, which can be a bit of an issue if you're walking, the actual surface itself is very, very smooth. You've got an extremely good view around and beyond this heavy weapon, and the ground is almost shiny. It's so smooth. I mean, it's not literally shiny. I mean, you're looking at the same kind of rock much closer to you, and it's not actually reflective, but it's a very, very smooth surface, very satiny, really, from a distance.
Yeah.
The same is essentially true in front of the cliff face as well.
Oh.
It's just that it being a former mine, in front of the cliff face, there are a few piles of rock and rubble.
Big enough for people to cower behind. Bravely
Easily.
cower.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
The distinction's important. Okay. So there's some human rock. I guess Sarah and Stefan have been thinking along the same way about some kind of, taking out the gun, something suppressing something a bit sneakier or something to try and take the higher ground. It's going to be you're going into the mouth of the beast if you just take a frontal assault.
Yeah, Stefan will say, well, I'm quite confident about the group. Looking around everyone when we get inside, it's
Fid is here. Fid is here. That's more important than the story. Fid is here.
Hello, Socks.
All right.
Hey,
happy resubscription. I sent you a gift, Socks. I posted it today. Because I couldn't hold off. I need to send Sparrow actually, but it's a little bit further because it's got to go abroad. But yeah, we're just looking at how to take back our resplendent friend's new house, Socks. Some naughty toe rags have taken over his ass in a wall of a quarry. How are we going to do it? Okay. Sorry, was Agnar saying something? You're sorry.
No.
No.
Stefan was like, "Oh, I'm quite confident when we get inside that we can take everyone down, given the group that we've got. It's more the approach that worries me."
It's getting there, isn't it? It's like, do we set up a thingy? Do we trick them by putting in what are they called when you send in a fake lot that go off in another direction? My brain's died. What's it called?
Put a brick on the accelerator in the G carrier.
Yeah,
whilst that's driving towards, we'll scoot around the other side.
Don't upset Rack. Blow up his G carrier and his house in one day. In those two things.
Yeah. Okay, maybe not. Sorry, Rack. I didn't mean it. It was only a joke. We'll do it sensibly.
Yeah, decoy. Thank you, Fitz. I kept thinking of another word. My brain has left me this week. It's been one of those weeks. Dr. McCoy. That's what I need. Dr. McCoy. But he's just a doctor. Damn it. He can't fly a G carrier.
I mean, other than that, I guess we all scatter. And all approach from a different
Working
Angle.
twos or threes. Working.
Spread out. Give them multiple targets. Get there as quickly as we can. Head for those rocks that are out front, and then get to the. I'm assuming when we're at the doors, they won't be able to get us.
Like, it depends
At
how.
the kind of angle, Ben, are we talking? Is it right above the front doors?
The weapon is pretty much directly above the doors. It's set a few meters back from the edge because the little surround of rocks is all the way round it so that it can be pointed in any direction.
Yeah.
And obviously an operator wouldn't be able to do that if it was right on the edge of the cliff. They would be dangling over space in order to point it back over the upper surface.
So you've got a killing zone, but then you've got a safe zone.
Yeah.
So if you were directly below it, you'd probably be safe from that weapon, though clearly not necessarily safe from anything dropped from above.
Oh, like rocks, oil, and a big
Heavy
gun.
weapons
A big
that I
gun.
no longer want to
Yeah,
use,
don't need this anymore. We have got. Sarai has got smoke. If we need it. What we've talked about this in planetary environments before, Ben, about the dispersal of smoke.
Yeah.
How would it do on Dilub Rou?
Dilub Rou is actually a pretty good place for it, especially out here. The air is relatively still, and though it is thin, the smoke will disperse more quickly than it would on a thicker atmosphere, but it will still linger long enough to be a significant benefit.
Could Stefan take a shot from a flying G carrier? Like those war movies, you can lean out with the feet on the rungs.
Potentially, how would you? Is this for a smoke grenade?
No, he's got his sniper rifle that he was already talking about laying down fire.
Realistically, if you want to take an aimed shot, you've got to be static for that. You won't be able to use your scope and your aiming from a moving vehicle.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to take out the operator in the turret or the weapon first, I suspect you'd have to creep up over a number of hours, potentially over open ground, but hiding and keeping low in the dark and hoping you weren't spotted. After all, they've got no particular reason to be on high alert, have they?
That's sort of, I don't know about you, Stefan, but that's what I almost feel like a two-person team doing, but I don't know how dangerous and stupid it is.
You're right, because we never do anything dangerous or stupid, Stefan says.
No, exactly. Whatever we do, whether we fly the G carrier straight in, potentially under fire, we don't want to dent poor old Rack's new ride, his new wheels, his new G wheels. But if we make a big run across we could be blown to pieces before we get there. Having something that could potentially it's risky though. It's risky.
Agnar will look at Rack and he'll say, "I suggest maybe we leave the G carrier out of this, unless of course you've got other ideas."
Given they've got a heavy weapon out there, I think it's just inviting trouble. They'll tear it to pieces. I think this has got to be creeping up on foot.
We've got. There's not the nun is gone, so there's 9 of us, right? Do we get a team of 2 dropped off?
8, I make it.
8. Sorry, 2 and 8. Rack Jacks 2, us 4, 6.
Zoe and Sammy.
Zoe and Sammy, yeah, excellent. What have I written? AK. Who's AK? Who's SS? What's going? Oh, they're the 4. There's our 4 people. Oh, that's how many the craft can carry. Who's AK? It's because I've got a cricket colleague called AK. So do we send 2 off in sneaking, which leaves 6? And do they sneak from the front in pairs? But do the 2 get dropped off a lot earlier and try and work their way towards? Risky though. It'd have to be
Well,
stealthy
you've got a
people.
number of decisions to make. First, I suppose, is which direction you want to approach from, or do you want to split your forces and some at the higher level and some at the lower? And then how are you going to coordinate your approach? And from how far out, I guess.
Exactly.
Are you going to creep your way for 1,000 meters, or are you going to try and get dropped off a bit closer?
That's it. We do stand. Something's gone wrong with the sound, though, Fids. The blurp isn't working as well as it was, which is very frustrating. I need to resort blurp. So don't waste your points on the guns or anything, because the John Cena music won't be happening.
However, you have
Obviously
managed
the
to
only
trigger our standing thirst trap.
Yeah, fine, of course. It'd be wrong not to. There he is. It's thirsty work. We need a bit of urine from time to time.
Exactly.
Sexy boy.
Meanwhile, whilst this conversation is going on, Stefan's not full on rolling around, but he's, sort of down on his knees and he's trying to scoop up as much dusty rock from the planet's surface and spread it all over him. Some stupid attempt to try and blend in.
Okay.
Without throwing it all up in the air, making a dust cloud that's visible for miles.
Yes.
It's not an inherently silly idea, I'll grant you that. Especially given that he's got a fair amount of fur.
He's a fuzzy character.
He can probably trap a bit of dust there without too much difficulty, and it'll probably stay and may help with all sorts of things. Yeah.
It's anything that breaks off that reflection, and that isn't it.
So what do we think?
I think we've
already done a roll, haven't we, Ben? For
recons. Only Sir Look, though. To be fair, she's the only one that's cast her weather die.
We know, but previous session, sorry, we did some military tactics.
The tactics.
Recon.
Ah, cool. Stealth. I'm siding towards a team of 2 going up. Kelly and Angele. Hey, Kelly Angele. Oh no, indeed. Hi. Do we know? Do we know Kelly? Do we know? I don't know Kelly. Socks knows Kelly. Does it Socks know Kelly? Kelly. Socks is very welcoming of people. As far as I know, Socks knows about 30 million people, to be fair. So it's quite possible.
It's all true.
It's all true. Anyway, good. Hello, Kelly. I hope you're well, and I hope you've had a wonderful week. It's Friday, which is always a pleasure. Sorry, I got confused for a bit because Fids is just the friendliest person we know. So. So I'm wondering whether to take 2. I'm considering. I don't know. Of mine, actually, Kara's the better choice because she's got some stealth, and Soraya's gunslinging and smoke, and that might be better for the front crew, if that makes sense, and infiltration. Okay. But if Kara's going, she needs someone who's a much more accurate shot, if that makes sense, that can from distance. Kara don't mind jumping in if need be, and sort of she can punch. She's got some fisticuff skills. She's got some cool gear. I don't know. What are you thinking, Ewan? Have you got anyone that you're happy to take on such a mission?
The 2 people trying to take out the heavy weapon mission. Stefan will probably go for that. It seems more up his street than Agnar trying to do it with a shotgun. Agnar and Kara trying to punch it and shotgun it from a distance seems a poor choice.
Yeah, I wonder if they get flown up to a distance away and start attack over. Fill them full of food, give them some food and some water, give them some explosive, and send them on their way a few hours before everyone else makes a move.
All right.
And they just go about it in a very, very slow manner, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, or we set them up somewhere, and because I'm guessing there's nobody on the heavy weapon at the minute.
You haven't
But
been able to spot.
if they see someone approaching, then somebody will probably man it. So do we just set up somewhere out of sight and wait for someone to man it and then start attacking? If the other people are seen.
Now the question is, what was it that? Because I bought some gear. Is there anything that I bought that we could set those two up under? Like, what is the range of Stefan's sniper rifle? Ben, do we know, or you?
600 meters.
Okay.
Is what I have written down.
Yeah, it's what you call standard range. It can actually go longer than that. But there are penalties if you go longer.
Yeah. Okay.
So I've got a prefab cabin would be too visible. We couldn't set that up. If we could route around to see if there's just a bit of old material. We got some ropes. Maybe set up a little bivvy or something about 800 meters off. And then you said keep an eye on things, Ewan. Is that what you said? Just keep an eye for if anyone rocks up.
Yeah, if the others approach cautiously or as undercover as they can, and if they do get spotted, I presume we'll notice some action from the gun, and then we.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Then we lay down cover for them if it gets used. If it doesn't, then
If
I don't know.
If the job is to go scrubbing around in the G carrier to see if you can find anything helpful, I'm going to suggest this is a task chain, which everyone can have a go at.
Ooh.
And what we're looking for is a straight streetwise.
Okay, yeah. So what's that? Is that just?
Actually, we'll make it a straight survival, but you can have intellect with it.
So what we're doing here? We're doing are those two flying off? Are those two being dropped off now? Is that what the talk was?
You were asking if there was anything you could use to help disguise people's approach or anything like that.
Yes.
So everyone's going to basically start poking through all of the interior of the G carrier to see if there's anything that would help.
Okie dokie. And what we rolling? Did you say survival?
Yeah, survival and plus intellect for all 8 of the people, if that makes sense.
Lovely.
Oh dear, this could go badly. Right.
Well, Soraya got a 4, so that's gone very badly.
Let's get Stefan out of the way first, because the worst of the bunch. That's a 7 minus 3 is a 4.
No, so they have been useless. Kara's hit a 6 plus 2 and 8. So
Okay.
that could be okay.
And Agnar has rolled an 8 plus an 8. Plus nothing is an 8.
I have to tell you that those 2 8s are the best rolls anyone managed, and by not a trivial margin.
Oh dear.
No.
The worst we managed was a total 4. But it wasn't just the worst. We had 2 of them. So, despite a certain amount of grunting and throwing of stuff and cartoonishly tunneling through lockers and what have you, you don't appear to have much in the way of covering materials or suitable camo for this kind of approach.
Okay.
Fair.
So Jax looks rather grumpy at this and says, maybe we can steal something from the Priory. I mean, they've got to have like sackcloth, right? Maybe ashes.
Yeah, that's true.
Agnar looks over. You want to steal ashes from the Priory?
My goodness, how low we have stooped. Can't
They'll have something. You're right.
Sarai's very
I'm sure
upset
they'll
about the
have
idea of stealing from a priory.
Maybe we can rent something from them.
That's more like it. That's more like it. Yeah, we got time, I guess, and that even if we're dropping those guys off a couple of hours before everyone else, we've got time before it gets dark. We don't.
Yeah, and then theoretically all night, of course, to actually make your approach if you want to.
Yeah, that's true. Sound like a plan, Agnar?
Yeah.
Happy to go back?
I certainly am. Yes, I'm always happy. Let's see what we can gather and collect ourselves here later.
Yep. Okie dokie.
Okay. All right. So everyone clambers back into the G carrier, and you set off on a relatively short trip across the just one radius of this crater, and pull up in front of the Priory. Once again, you are in time effectively for the 4 o'clock chantings, which you can obviously take advantage of. And once again, they welcome you in and offer you food, and make you comfortable.
Soraya smiles to them again. I take it is Arn on there? The mother must be there. Mother Lissa.
Mm-hmm.
Mother, we come asking for support in our quest, not one of physical strength, of course, or one of anything that would put any of your society in danger. But we're wondering if you had any materials or equipment that one could use to be less conspicuous on an approach somewhere.
Okay. Roll a persuade for me with intellect.
That's more like it. We're hitting pluses now. 10 plus 2 is a 12.
Okay.
It's because Sarai knows how to talk to people of the cloth.
Absolutely.
Agnar will joke. We could dress up as nuns.
This isn't a bad early 90s film. We come in peace, brothers.
Lissa says, we have no shortage of material, if that would help. I don't know that we have much that would be particularly specialized for what you need, but we do have quite a lot of material that is a comparable color to the rock outside.
It's something that, at a look from several hundred meters, if a person could look like a rock, that would be perfect.
Oh, the cloaks from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, that's it. And if you've got any leber spread, whatever it's called, we'll have some of that to keep our bellies full. We've only had first and second brunch today.
That's right. Yeah,
it's very true.
She shows you through to the refectory, and says, "Please, sit, have some food. I'll see what I can find."
Oh, fantastic!
Thank you.
Are you all going into the refectory?
Why not? I'm sure it's a lovely place to wait.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Yes. Yeah.
So when you get into the refectory, you find that Garrow is sitting there, um, seemingly using it as a place to meet, because there are two people, a man and a woman, sitting at one of the long tables directly opposite him, and the three are discussing various things and pushing computer tablets back and forth between them, as if explaining something to Garrow.
Uh,
Um,
Kara will nod at Agnar and say, "Do you recognise those two people?"
do I recognise those two people then?
You do not.
No,
Hmm.
I have no idea. But I was gonna approach. Do you want to come say hi to Garrow with me?
Ah, it would be nice to talk to Gara again. It feels like it's been hours since we last saw him.
Certainly not a week.
Thank goodness for that.
Never a week.
No, definitely not. Agnar will approach with Kara and walk up and just Sam. Sorry to interrupt. I don't want to impose, but it's nice to see you again, Garrow. I hope you're keeping well since this morning.
Oh, yes. Uh, Good to see you again. Yeah, recovery's going well. How are you guys?
Yes, very good. Thanks. We just stopped off for some supplies, and we're kindly invited to a spot of, well, I suppose we'd call it brunch. Yes, so we won't intrude, and then he'll turn to the other two and say, "I'm sorry, I don't think we've had the pleasure. I'm Agnar Arnson. This is my friend Kara Lasker."
Okay. um, um, I'm tempted to say, under the circumstances, you should.
It's time for brunch, Spurs. It's time for brunch. Let me find it.
Of course it is.
There's brunch. It's always time for brunch. I'll drink to that.
I'll drink to
A
that.
mimosa, of course.
I think you should roll a quick persuade check for me, please. Your choice of intellect or social as well.
Oh no! Well, that's good, because I was going to ask if I could have social to somewhat balance it out.
What? He's gonna big dog, is he? Do you know who I am?
Do you know that I rolled a 3
Oh
overall,
no!
+2 -3, so I get a 2.
A 2. Okay. The two of them look not exactly irritated, but they kind of blank you a little bit, and then each of them says, "I'm Mr. Smith," says one of them, and the woman says, "I'm Miss Jones."
Oh.
And they don't give you any sort of further indication that they're paying you any mind.
Sure. Well, it's a pleasure, and it's a pleasure as always, Garrow. If brunch is calling, and Agnar will hold his rumbly tumbly. If as long as you're okay, and if you need us for anything, we'll just be over there unless you've got anything to add.
Kara's going to lean over. The tablets and stuff they're pushing backwards and forwards. Is it standard fare, Ben, or is it slightly fancy stuff? Does she recognise it if it's fancy?
They're pretty basic. It seems to basically be covered in text, and without sort of leaning right in and making it obvious what you're doing, you can't read what it is. But it looks like densely packed textual documents on pretty standard everyday tablets.
Oh, so it's like a Nokia tablet.
Yeah.
They're not playing Snake, are they?
Yeah, have a check.
Showing my age.
Oh, if only. Can Kara make some kind of conversation using her brokering skill and some kind of communication skill, please, Ben? I'm going to start it in this way. Well, you can tell me if I can. How about I start
Okay.
talking and you make that decision? Hi, Mr. Smith and nods, Miss Jones. I don't know if God's house is the right place to talk about this. I don't know what the religion is in thingy, by the way. Do we know? Is there a specific religion, Ben?
You're in the right family of religions, certainly.
Okay, thank you.
This is a monotheistic.
A monotheistic, fantastic. Yeah. I don't know if God's house is the right place to talk about this, but you guys, you don't know where someone could buy or sell around here? Sort of a bit of trading, a bit of moving things on, picking things up at all? Do you? So anything like that? So anything that you know about? I'm just trying to catch a vibe of them, if that makes sense. I don't really care about trading. I'm just trying to catch a vibe.
You know what? There's absolutely no reason you shouldn't be able to use a broker check for that. But you're going to have to do it with a bane because it's not really what it's for.
That's okay. Well, can I use another? But can I use one of my social skills as well, though?
You can certainly use your social bonus.
Yeah. So my social and broker, but with a bane. Yeah. +2 with a bane. That seems very reasonable, Ben.
It feels the fair way to do it, if you know what I mean.
He's a reasonable man, everyone. You can clip that. Ben is a reasonable man.
He is indeed.
I hope he remembers that when we start attacking.
At the beginning of this, Agnar goes to walk away, and then hears Kara talk and sort of stops and turns around, holding his tummy, and just sort of,
his rumbly tumbly.
We're staying, are we?
It was a 6, which is lost. So a 6 plus 2 is 8.
Okay. You've this time managed to at least get a toe into the conversation. They are now reacting rather than just sort of saying charmed and returning back to their conversation. They're now interacting with you properly. And Smith says, we're agents for pan system power, not really involved in that kind of thing. But I understand there are traders at Azureport, which isn't very far from here.
Okay.
And I would think that would be your most likely source.
What are they called again? Pan system
power.
Pan system power. And traders back at the port. Of course. You don't know? I know someone that works there. Do you know? I believe he works locally. He's a man by the name of Jerem Nerisse. Or Nerisse.
There's an immediate look of recognition. Jerem Nerisse, yes, we know him.
Yeah, I've been looking to talk to him actually about some big sort of local matters actually. So thank you for that heads up. He's definitely someone that we're planning to talk to. I've not met him myself, but it's a friend of a friend kind of contact. Do you know where he's based? Is he based in the port or elsewhere?
He well, his office is at the Pan System Power technological headquarters to the north.
Okay.
I don't know his movements personally. You understand?
Of course.
If we were to give you our electronic contact details, those include contacts for the front desk at that facility, so you can make an appointment and contact him directly.
Oh, that's absolutely wonderful. To contact front desk. I'd really, really appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
They both pull out their communicators and effectively do the little touch, communicator to communicator thing with you to transfer their contact details.
The little blip blip.
Yeah. Now you are you have the opportunity to effectively exchange details or just to take theirs, whichever you prefer.
I will. There's no reason why Kara Laska can't give hers. Kara will. She'll she'll set the little thing up on the app on hers, so she'll blip it, so it gives hers as well. She'll say, I doubt we need mine at all, but if ever any conversation comes up, my name is Kara. It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Smith and Miss Jones. And yeah, like I say, you probably don't need it, but it's there if you do.
All right.
If anything comes to mind, for example.
As you glance down to sort of see the data come in, you notice whether it's a Pan System Power affectation or something that they do their own way, that the names are spelt in a slightly unorthodox way.
Oh.
Smith is the TH is actually a thorn.
Oh. Oh no.
Like an Old English kind of letter.
Oh no.
And Jones, the O is a Greek omega.
Okay, well, that won't go into the encyclopedia in that way.
I was going to say, this is going to make your life really easy.
It's like doing it on purpose. Are they carved into that at all? I think that's what Fitz wants to know.
No, they've just got some unusual characters in their name.
They are unusual characters.
They are certainly unusual characters, exactly. Carl, I thank them and lean over and make a big show of shouting back to Soraya. Soraya, Rack, what was the name of that? They're talking about traders back at the port. What was the name of that? Dodgy. She sort of plays up as as if she's sort of making him out to be a very dodgy guy kind of thing. That dodgy trader guy that you two went to. That one that was messing you around. Do you remember his name?
The used car dealer.
Yeah, that guy. And Soraya is looking, and it's Lane Durek, right? Lane Durek. Durek. So I go, Lane Durek. And Soraya will go, Carl will turn back to him and say, does that name ring a bell at all? That guy? Is he to be trusted?
Roll a persuade for me with intellect or social, your choice. And you can have a boon this time.
Kara one as well. Excellent. What was that, intellect and persuade?
Yep, with a boon.
Okay, +4 and a boon. Okay, that's 7 + 4 is 11.
Okay. Smith immediately says, "Yep. He's known to Pan System Power. He's constantly looking for a way to make use of our proximity to his business to give him an advantage. He seems harmless. He's he's quite a sort of character in Azureport terms. Is Lane Durek. And Jones immediately chimes in and says, "Oh yes, he's got a lot of ships, and locals know him as your Lane,
As a lane.
as your Lane,
Yeah.
as your port, Lane Durek."
I see. I like it.
And he's famous for all the ships.
Famous for the ships.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. There's famous and then there's ship famous, isn't there? Okay. Thanks. Cool. Thank you. Just wondering. We ran into him and just wanted to know because I think he does. I think he likes to think he sort of runs in maybe not the same circle, but the sort of stuff he deals with in ships, and you guys do a lot with ships as well. So thanks, appreciate it. But thank you for the details. It means I can chase up with our friend. Thank you kindly. Enjoy the rest of your meeting. I hope you sort things out. And she sort of gives what's his name, the guy, a little nudge, the injured guy.
Garrow. Yeah.
Garrow says, "Remember, where there's blame, there's a claim, Garrow." Remember that.
Well, in fact, as you're getting up from the table, they look as if they've more or less finished their dealings. It might be that Garrow has a few more questions, but there's that sense of whatever they were here to discuss in detail, they've pretty much covered the main point. And it is at this moment that two other people walk in, being shown by a nun, two youngish men. And the nun points out Garrow and says, "That's Mr. Kavarian." And the two of them thank her and meander along, walk over and say, "Garrow Kavarian?" And you're still here at this point. You can hear this quite clearly. And he looks up and says, "Yes." And one of the people looks down at his notes again. And he says, "That's Garbis Kavarian." And I says, "Yes." "Excellent. My name's Sergeant Detter.
What spelling?
Detter.
Detter.
And I work for the local police.
Oh,
I was wondering if you had time for a few words." And Garrow looks as if he's about to say, "Well, I'm currently in discussions with these two," but those two immediately say, "Well, I think we're done here," and give him no opportunity to sort of use them as an excuse. Briefly, shake him by the hand, and they march out without looking back. Garrow rather helplessly looks at the police and says, "Well, it looks like I have time." And the two of them sit down opposite him and begin having a discussion, which you can stick around and try and overhear if you wish. But they're speaking quite quietly.
Oh, who's a good sneaky listener, Ewan? Who we've got? Do we want to be nosy? Do we care?
I mean, I think we do. I think we're naturally nosy people. You and me, not Agnar and
Agnar's nose is much
Kara
bigger
and
than Agnar's nose is much bigger than mine, though.
We did spend a few hours sniffing around a laptop.
Here's blissed out Kara. It might not be what we were expecting. There's the big room. There's holy juju vibes and some music.
Nice.
And there's Kara's laid on the floor with she's blissed out, just laid there on the stone floor with all the juju floating around.
Isn't
exactly.
that brilliant?
There you go, Spurs. Exactly as ordered, to the letter.
I like that you got her colour scheme.
That's vital.
As well. was good.
Okay, let's do some eavesdropping like the wrong uns we are.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Agnar won't leave. He'll stay around until anything is said or brought up, or
All right. I'm going to suggest that this is actually going to be a deception on Agnar's part, which he can do with intellect. He's effectively trying to look like he's minding his own business.
How about deception with social, Ben? Would you go that far?
You know what? Yeah. Social would work in this context.
Don't you know who I am? I can stand wherever I want.
No, but just socializing outside of that circle, paying attention to something else, kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
And then, if need be, he'll throw in the don't. That's not bad. That's a 10 plus 3 is a 13.
Okay, a 13. You're right. That's not bad. Okay. The two detectives introduce themselves more formally. You learn that the other is someone called Constable Atsink, ATSINK.
ATSINK. Is it Constable?
And they are asking some general questions of Garrow about an organisation known as the WEF Free Company.
Spelling, please.
WEFF.
WEFF. The WEF Company.
WEF Free Company.
WEF Free Company. Sounds like like the sort of company that makes Febreze. Do you need to be WEF free?
Free Company or WEF Free Company?
Yeah.
I wonder. Anyway.
And the WEF Free Company is the matter of discussion. They asked Garrow about the WEF Free Company, and specifically a whole series of questions which seem to be basic information gathering. They're just poking around, and after a while, talking about WEF, it turns out that Garrow and some of his neighbours, small-scale miners, have formed this loose association which covers a fairly substantial portion of the planet, but it's not a very large number of people because they're quite spread out. And they call themselves the WEF Free Company. And WEF is this loose association of people that, if you like, block trade with buyers, like an almost unionized approach or a collectivity approach to trading. And clearly the police have a bit of a concern about WEF. And initially their questions are very vague, but after a while they kind of get to the point and ask if Garrow has any reason whatsoever to believe that the WEF collective is making use of slave labor.
Right. Everyone in the van, we're off to WEF to take them out. Forget what we're doing. Sorry, Rack.
And Garrow looks surprised to hear that. He's never heard of anything like that. He's never seen anything or heard anything that would imply that WEF is using slave labor at all. But apparently the police are acting on a tip or a rumor or something. And though he does ask, they won't tell him where they got the rumor from. So you don't really have any way of judging how accurate the rumor is likely to be. Mm-hmm. But after a while, with Garrow professing complete lack of knowledge of anything to do with slave labour. They thank him for his time, wish him a speedy recovery, and get up to leave.
Does he seem honest in his lack of knowledge
Oh, good question.
of WEF using slave labour?
Can you roll I'm tempted to say a deception check with intellect.
Yeah. Look for those twitching eyes.
Can indeed.
Does he look top left rather than top right when he's thinking?
That's a 7 + 1 is an 8.
Okay. He seemed genuinely quite surprised that anyone would even mention slave labour. Like the thought had never even occurred to him.
Okay, cool. Agnar will turn around to him and I'll say, I'm sorry, I hope you don't mind me being quite as frank as I am, but were those two separate conversations you had related?
Garrow thinks for a second and says, I don't think so. The Pan System people were here to explain to me the money that I was getting in exchange for the accident that I had, and what they were willing to pay and what they were willing to do. Apparently, they've already gone to pull the wreckage out of my place and remove anything that could be, dangerous or toxic or anything like that. And they've offered me a flat rate to rebuild and get my life back, which obviously I'll have to spend some of that on repairing my place and some of it on, earning me some time while I recover. But they've offered me a flat deal and I'm minded to take it. What the police wanted, who knows? I didn't make any sense to me at all. I don't see how they would be related.
Well, I mean, that is probably the some of the more horrid company I've kept. And he looks over to the Stefan table, and me being a bit paranoid, but I assumed that maybe they were lowballing you with the offer, and if you didn't take the offer, there'd be some repercussions, and then all of a sudden these two police people show up. But I'm just sorry, I'm being nosy.
Wait, you think they might be lowballing me?
Well, no, I don't even know what they've offered you, but if you were unhappy with the deal that they were giving you, and they wanted to try and force you into it, it would seem a good way to do that.
They've offered me $1 million.
It's more money than I've certainly seen.
Isn't that what we sold the BAS test for?
Individually.
Individually, yeah. We never saw that $1 million, sadly.
It could be. I mean, I suspect it would be quite a lot of that would be eaten up by repairing my place. I'm sure they're not in this for charity. If they wouldn't offer me $1 million unless the damage was, a sizable chunk of that. But I was thinking of taking it. I mean, it seems both a reasonable deal, and then I can just put it behind me, move on with my life.
Yeah, of course. I mean, obviously, you're taking into account the loss of earnings and the cost to rebuild and the inconvenience to yourself and any further ongoing medical issues that you may have. I'm sure it's a lot of money. I'm sure you would be able to put it to good use.
Yeah, they seem to. Well, they seemed very accommodating. Truthfully, I thought I'd have to argue more than that, honestly. But Obviously, Pan System has money to burn.
Are any of the tablets still there, Ben?
Yes, there's one they've left with him.
Kara says, "Can I have a read through that?" Small print and everything. Do you know what I mean? It's like you saying that you didn't have to fight for it. That's very unlike any corporation I've ever known when trying to get money out of them for compensation and that. Do you mind? Do you mind?
No, please have a look.
Thank you. I find it hard just to eat and not do something at the same time. Anyway, so this is perfect. Thank you. This is some eating reading.
Reading, yes.
Reading,
Quite
eating,
right.
eating. Yes, that thing.
Eating, reading, yes.
Brunch
Eating.
always works. Brunch
A lot
always
of
tastes
reading.
better when I've got something to do, as I enjoy it. So yeah, I'd like Kara to focus on that, please.
Okay. You can make an advocate check.
Oh.
Ooh.
Can I make an avocado check?
Avocado.
An avocado check.
You cannot make an avocado check. No.
Can I add education to it, please?
You can do advocate with education. Yes.
Thank you.
And I'm just seeing because I'm wondering if
it's a good point, Kelly. If they're involved, if they're any corporation that he got quite badly injured in, was it something fell off their ship or something when it had smashed his stuff up or something?
Yes. Yeah, it was an industrial accident.
Yeah, they're trying to shut him up. He might know something about him or something. That's why I want to check the small. If it says something like, "Thou shalt not mention anything about anything," kind of thing, then
yeah, we will give you £1 million. You owe us 2 million if you're in fact using slave labour.
You may not talk
in
to
this
anyone.
one. You can use advocate or admin.
Oh, both equally bad, but education brings it up to a -1.
With education, yeah.
Yeah, it's worth the roll. I don't think any of us. One of us might have admin, but no one's got advocate. I don't think. Agnar has. Oh. Well, if I fail, I'll just hand it over to him. You know a bit of. You've got some advocate skills, haven't you? It's what you'd do. If I can't make head or tail of it, I'll be like, "Can you read this?" I think that seems reasonable.
Maybe. As she's reading, Agnar will just say, "I hope you don't mind, Tugoro. We're not. Well, we are being nosy, but we're just trying to look out for the general people."
9 minus 1 is 8. Sorry.
9 minus 1 is 8. Okay. The contract doesn't contain any kind of restrictions or anything that would be unusual. It looks like a straightforward. Garrow will agree not to pursue any subsequent claims for loss or damage in exchange for 1 million credits, which will be delivered immediately as a lump sum, and he won't have to go to court and get any of it back. There's nothing that specifies how the money should be spent, and the only thing it says is he can't then come back to them to ask for more. It looks pretty standard by any measure.
Okay. Gary, are you happy with this just being a one-off? Is there any reason why you might go back and ask for them for more? That's the one thing that stands out to me.
No, I'm on the mend, and I mean, I haven't seen what the damage looks like at my place and the workshop next to it, which obviously will need to be looked at. But I was thinking, if I figure I can repair everything for significantly less than 1 million, I'll take the money.
And it's more than you hoped for. It feels like a good deal for you. Doesn't feel there's anything dodgy going on to you. To be honest, the deal is only as good as the person who's receiving it, right? Okay. When do they want it signed by?
They haven't placed a specific date on it. They want me to be comfortable with it, so I'm not signing it until I've seen what the damage looks like at my place. if the damage looks like something I can easily cover for, well less than 1 million, then, as I say, I'm looking to sign.
Well, how about keep our details? We're heading over to talk to PSP in the next few days anyway. We've got some dealings we need with them. If you're popping back to your place anyway, have a look and let us know, and we can always. We've got ways of talking with people, I guess, and we've got ways of sometimes getting to the bottom. Sometimes we're rubbish, but sometimes we're pretty good. And if something does look a little bit weffy for you, let's say.
Well, I was going to ask a favour, actually.
Okay, we're all ears. There's at least 16 of them.
If you're going to be in the area for the next day or so, I don't have any transport with me. You couldn't give me a lift.
Kara sort of claps him on the shoulder, she does with people, and looks him square in the eyes, and says, "I think for the best, you don't come with us this evening. Have another night. Have another night. Chill out. Enjoy the chance. Have a nice bit of food. Relax." She'll lean over. Rack, are you all right to give old mate a lift back tomorrow when our work's done here?
Rack is resplending with a very full mouth of food,
Oh.
so you just see him give a big, hearty nod and 2 thumbs up like that.
Oh, fantastic. Well, and Carl says, "Well, there you go. He's the big cheese. He's the man with the van. He's the man to go with. If he's happy, we're happy. We'll come and give us your detail. We're coming anyway, but drop us your number and we'll sort of make sure all is good, and we'll pick you up tomorrow."
Excellent. Thank you very much. That's kind. He does indeed touch, contacts with you. Excellent. And as you have reached this point in the conversation, Jax meanders into the room, having gone for a little stroll, and leans against a wall, and says to no one in particular, "Sun's going down."
Woo!
And that's where we'll have our little break.
Oh,
nice. Sun's getting real low.
Sun's getting real low. We'll do some Clint Eastwood squinting. So while we go and dig out our night vision goggles and our thermals, we're just going to vanish off for 5 minutes to do that, catch some air, have a little costume change, I believe it's called, Ben always tells me, and refill our glasses. We recommend you do the same. We'd love it if you guys hung around, Karen, in the chat if you want, or just go grab whatever you need. When we come back after the break, it is the most important part of any episode. It's the toast. If you haven't experienced it before, please hang around for it. It's very important.
It is legendary.
It's legendary.
In our very limited circle.
Legendary in our own stream. Yeah, we'll be back in a few. This is where I get really unprofessional because I have to click on about 17 different things. Bear with me a second. Need that off, but the music on. So music should be playing now. We join. Yeah, hang on. There, music. Music. We're going to work. I have to turn these things off, and that'll go. And then we'll put the brake on. Where's the brake? There's the brake. Look at that. And then I'll mute us. Perfect. Right. Back in 5, guys. Don't go anywhere. We can. I'm not your boss. Us and hello, we're the boys from the Baltic Star. Welcome back to part 2. Over to you, Ewan.
The most important part of any Boys from the Baltic Star stream, although to be fair, we only do it during Traveller, is the toast to beloved Greyhall Vast, a dead NPC who is no longer with us due to some poor decision making from Luke and I.
He's only physically not here.
Well, yes, he is here in our hearts and in our memories. We often speak a lot about how beloved Greyhill was to us and how much we miss him, but we very rarely speak about it in game, and our characters very rarely speak about it. So, if I may, I would like to spend tonight's toast rehashing a bit of a moment from after our last night at the Cascade, when we were back at our hotel, the Hotel Coronet.
Yep.
Coronet. And I'd just like to pour out the emotion that I think our characters are keeping hidden deep inside ourselves. If you bear with me one moment whilst I prepare, I shall be back.
Oh no.
Setting the general scene, there is Kara, and Kara was sharing a room with somebody, I believe.
Hello, with Zoe. I'm
Zoe.
sharing a room with Zoe. We get on very well. She wakes up a bit too early in the morning for my liking, but we've got this thing going on where she puts up with me and kind of ruffles my hair from time to time.
Yes, yeah. And then after getting back quite drunk, I think, from our last night at the Cascade, there is a knock at Kara's door.
She'll sort of drag herself up and go over to the door and open it a peek. We're suspicious people. Hello?
Who is it? Who is it? Says Zoe.
It's Joy Police Buskers. Sorry, Joy Police Buskers.
Well, if you bung them a credit, they'll go away.
Oh. Shall I read it out for people that can't see it, or Ben read it out if it's because it's small on some screens? With any luck, by next year, the Baltic Star will be employing one of these barkeeps. There's pictures of barkeeps. But for now, let me say, without bias or need for pity, just because we're on Geeker, and on Geeker, you tell the truth. Wait, what you do? Oh no. To me, Grey Hill was perfect. And my wasted heart will love him until he looks like this. To the late great Grey Hill Bast.
The Grey Hill Bast.
To the late great Grey Hill Bast.
And then Agnar walks away.
just leaving
That
her
was
stunned.
fantastic.
To Grey Hill, Ali! To Grey Hill. To Grey Hill. Cheers, Kelly. Cheers.
To Grey Hill. Grey Hill.
To Grey Hill.
Not that you have to, Kelly, but just so you're aware, in the Imperial credits there is a 1 credit option, which is, and I'll drink to that if ever you want to. We keep it 1 credit so that anyone can join in a toast at any time they want. Chat as well as thingy. I'll drink to that.
And now that rather obscure popular culture reference.
Wheels within wheels tonight.
To Grey Hill.
My goodness, to Grey Hill.
To Grey Hill.
Oh, you two take it far too well. I never want to win it back. Dear, oh dear.
Actual live theatre. It's amazing.
We should probably explain that as well, actually, that every now and then in game we will have a gamble between characters as to who takes on the honour of toasting Grey Hill Bast every week. So eventually it will change over to somebody else. Hopefully, because going to run out of stuff.
Well, that's right. You know, it needs to stay fresh, doesn't it?
Yeah. Definitely.
It's a chalice, but it's poisoned. But it's a chalice, but it is poisoned. But it is a chalice.
Ah, Kelly, the reason for the wolf head is because Agnar, one of the characters,
I'll put
is
him
in
in the
fact
top.
a Varga.
Yes, my apologies. That is my Agnar head.
I've got a photo of him.
He's
There we are.
effectively descended from humanoid but canine stock.
There you go. There he is. There he is. That's when he's fluffy in the middle, and that's when he's working things out.
And that's when he's columnar.
Columnar.
Yeah.
And this is when he's got a man crush on Telon Rack. He's a little bit tipsy and he's got a man crush.
Who is also a Varga.
He's also a Varga. Yeah, what a guy.
Very resplendent.
Very resplendent. He was the poster boy for the Imperial Navy.
He was indeed.
Yeah, cheers to Columnar, I say. He saw us through a lot of trouble on our last mission.
Yes. Okay. So as you guys sort of gather your stuff together, you find that the nuns at the priory have done you pretty well with some relatively old and scrappy looking blankets and sheets and bits of fabric, but they've clearly taken the opportunity to go and fairly thoroughly rub them against the rock and the dirt and what have you to make them a fair approximation. They started out about the right color, sort of yellowish brown, bit of red streak here and there. But with the addition of some local dust, they really have they look quite decent.
Fantastic. This looks good. Kara picks one up and sort of shows it to Stefan. He says, "We might have a chance here. This looks. Look, put it on the ground again. That looks just like those rocks out there."
It does. It's pretty. Yeah, sure. I mean, anything's better than what we're wearing now, but these certainly look good.
What do you
And
say?
if they don't, I guess we won't be around long enough to find out.
We won't be returning them, that's for sure.
Judging by the size of that gun that they had, but yeah.
Oh, well, lovely nuns. It's been a pleasure. Soraya steps forward and says, "Can we make a donation at the very least for such a lovely offering to us?"
It's always appreciated. As you know, we have a mission here, and if you feel able, then thank you, please.
Soraya drops 1,000 credits.
Wonderful.
Oof.
Thank you so much.
She's got that side to her. She's got that side to
She
her.
has. She has.
They've been very nice to us. They've been very kind.
She's our moral compass.
She is strangely, Soraya seems to be the moral compass.
Yeah, it seems weird, but then this is a slightly amoral group.
It's certainly a weird group.
There's no lawful good in the old form, that's for sure.
No, a lot of chaotic good, and a fair amount of sort of true neutral.
Yeah, there's definitely some true neutral in there.
So yes, the team of you compile into your vehicle and set off. So the question becomes, what's the plan?
What's the plan, Mr. Wolf? So we've got some sheets. I've got. Let me look at my notebooks. I think I've got a feeling, Ewan. It might be worth. We've got a bit of rope. We've now got these sheets. I wonder if it's worth. We were saying Kara and Stefan, right? So if they take the sheets, we've got a flare gun. I almost wonder if it's worth them taking a flare gun in case, if, like, for example, if they know the second they know the gun is unoccupied, we could fire off the flare gun or something. If we have to do something with it as a signaling device.
Yeah,
Poof.
that makes sense. I guess they've got more reason to signal to the other team than the other team have got to signal to them.
Because they've got radio contact, but there's something nicely pleasing about a poof.
Yeah, definitely. It's very Hollywood.
I think it's got a nice visual, and we bought the. Yeah. Sorry, I bought the gun. It'd be nice for it to be used.
The flare gun has a nice visual. Oof, I should hope so.
Exactly. That's why I bought it.
Yeah.
Kara's going to graffiti it though, so she's gonna write flare, but the different kind of flare. AIR. It's gonna be flare gun.
Oh, yeah. That's good.
It is good. So they can take the flare gun, the sheets, a bit of rope, just for sort of tying things down if need be. Duct tape, because it's useful to have those sort of things. You can always tie some hands together or do some things. We've got loads of glow sticks. Are the glow sticks useful in the dark, Ewan? Do we want to be messing around with that as a little signalling device? It will show up on... A glow stick, Ben, would show up on night vision binoculars, right? As a white thing.
Oh, very much so, yeah.
That might be good.
We can take them. It might show up where we are, but we can take them. Stefan was saying.
Like, we don't have to crack them, do we? But,
no, exactly.
And the thing is, if you're under the blanket, they're quite good that you can show it and immediately glow sticks are quite good for angling, because if you've got things all around it, it doesn't give off that much of a peripheral glow because there's no heat to the thing as such. It's just a chemical bioluminescence or whatever it is, isn't it?
That is very true.
Here's
My
me trying to be.
knowledge of
I'm trying to be scientific right now.
glow sticks.
It's been years since I used to go clubbing with one in each hand.
I mean, let's take them. It's better to have them and not need them than it is to need them and not have them.
Well, I was watching a video with Ray Mears recently about survival and going for walks, and he says people always take too much. He says the older you get, the less you take, but these guys are still in their 30s, so they'll take too much.
Stefan goes to Kara and says, I don't know who Ray Mears is, but I'm not looking at you him.
Oh, these old Earth, these old Terror. Yeah, for people that don't know, Traveller Earth is Terror, isn't it, Ben? Terra. This is old Terror survival guy. He'd be great right now. They'd probably wee in this mug and make you drink it, but apart from that, it's all good, man.
That sounds disgusting.
Well, that's what they used to do to survive back on that
Terran
planet.
people were horrid.
They're frankly foul.
Yeah, I'm glad I never had to experience too much of the old Terror.
Yeah.
The old Terror. It was called Terror for a reason. Terror Sundays. They love their Sundays on Terror. Oh dear. Right.
Yeah,
Cool.
that's the plan, I guess. Are they dropping us off somewhere and then
Take a long trek.
parking up and they're taking a long trek as well?
A long, slow trek, yeah.
All right. So, who is being dropped off when and where? Who's being dropped off first of all?
It makes sense to drop those guys off because they've got the longest trip. And if I know those guys are holding up in the house, but if like a G carrier's buzzing around a kilometre away, it's not like they're going to open fire on them because things come and go, right?
Yes.
So the G carrier visits past, drops them off like, I don't know, like 800 metres away. It's not an instant threat to the house.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll very slowly over the next couple of hours keep an eye on everything and advance little and often as they can, I guess, and just keep an eye on the gun as well.
Okay. And are they approaching from the front or the back?
I'm thinking back, Ben, Ewan. So they're on the same height as the gun as opposed to lower.
Have we got a view of the gun from?
You can move into a position where you can see the gun, but doing so in the G carrier might expose you there, if you know what I mean.
Yes, but we can see it. We can see it from the front and the back. It's equally as visible.
Yeah. From the front, it appears at the top of a cliff, and from the back, it just appears on the level. You can't even see the cliff from the back, of course.
Yeah.
That's better, just in case we do need to jump in and take it. We need to be on the level that the gun's on. There's no point setting up lower, I don't think.
Yeah, let's go from the back. Why not?
Okay, so who's in that group? The group coming in from the back. I mean, Agnar is, isn't he?
No, that was the Stefan and Kara group, I think.
Stefan and Kara. Okay.
So they got the flare gun, the sheets, the rope, the duct tape, the glow sticks. Sarai's handing over some TDX. And
just in case.
And some plastic.
Okay.
As she hands it over, Stefan says, "I get the impression that that Rack might like it if the gun wasn't destroyed whilst trying to take this place back." And he winks over at Rack.
Rack immediately smiles and says, "Well, the G carrier's got a hard point on top of it. It could always use a thing."
Oh, you guys joking about your weapons, your big guns. We'll take it. We'll try and keep it. If we can get within range of blowing it, we'll only do it if it's for the survival and success of you guys. If that makes sense.
The safety of everyone here takes precedent, obviously.
Exactly. Kara will take her. Oh, the music's back on again. Hey!
Somehow we've achieved success.
Yes.
For both us and John Cena.
And John Cena, yes.
You're welcome.
That's pleasurable. Thanks, Spence. Enjoyed that. I get excited now when that hits. The John Cena entrance. Boys and their toys. You're right, Kelly. They'd love it. Kara will go in with a car. She'll have a carbine she'll have a laser pistol by her side. She'll have her gauntlet laser, which is very good at sort of a close range shooting. And her stun fist. She always wears her stun fist. She's got it all taped. We talked about it before, haven't we? So she's got her usual stuff. She'll leave the body pistol. Not that it's heavy, but any of those bits and pieces she'll leave on the. I've got some and other weapons that she'll leave behind, if that makes sense.
And Stefan is carrying what?
So he's wearing his knuckle blasters. He's got his augmented in his hand laser pistol, and he'll take his laser sniper rifle. Yes. He begrudgingly spends a long time swooning over his new flamethrower that he hasn't had a chance to use, and thinks, I'm probably not going to be able to carry both, and if I'm not going in the building, it should probably stay here.
Okay. Now remember, you also have Zoe, Sammy, Rack, and Jax with you. So if you want any of them for that group.
Well, that's the question. How big do we want this group to be? The new weapons are all slug, aren't they? Because they're no good to Kara.
They're all slug weapons.
Yeah,
the ones you purchase were all Gauss weapons.
Yeah.
Zoe has her own one, which is slightly different to
that's
the
right.
ones you got.
That's right. But we've got crew
but
guns.
Any of you can use, if you've got the right skills, any of you can use the Gauss weapons as slug weapons.
Yeah, some are quite tasty as well. So, do we want anyone else? Is a smaller team better? That's the question, Ewan. Does a big team give us more chance of success, or is a small team more mobile?
I mean, we're not going in hard, are we? We're trying to keep distance. So I would say a small team is better, and then the main force goes in to I assume, the more occupied levels of the house.
Well, indeed. Well, then you've
we're
got
only talking about one artillery type gun, aren't we? We're not talking about
and then the question is,
personnel.
Does everyone else split up in 3-2 so it's easier to get between the rocks sneakily? Because you want people in firing pairs, don't you? So either in 3-2s or 2-3s for the rest.
There are sort of 3 piles of rock in front.
3-2s makes sense then, Ewan, I think.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. We want people to have cover. Right. Stefan will reluctantly say, as people are, picking up weapons, if anyone wants that and points at his flamethrower, they can take it.
Counts as heavy weapon, doesn't it?
Yes. I think it's man portable heavy.
Sarai's got man gun skill. I just wrote it as man guns, in fact. Man guns.
So Sarai could take the flamethrower.
If you want it.
That's not her style, though. No, she's got her Gauss rifle +1, but she's also got an eye on the nice Gauss. She runs her hand over it and then pauses. She looks at Jax, who always strikes me as the one most likely to cackle, standing there in front of everyone. Says, "Are you interested, Jax?"
Jax has a Gauss rifle of her own. She takes a look at the rather slick-looking carbines that you guys have got, and says, "These look good. These look very good. If I can take one of those, that'd be great."
I'd go for it.
So you've got a limited number of the smart ones.
Yeah, we've got 2 guided, 4 decent Gauss carbines, and then the 5 flechette pistols, which are interesting if you're inside, I think.
Yeah.
Is Kara taking one of the smart?
She can't fire them. She's laser. She's laser and punching. That's her 2 fighting skills. And her tongue, of course. She's got a barbed tongue.
Mm-hmm. And her hacking skills.
There's a hacking skill, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
So,
cool.
So Jax will happily have one of your regular special carbines.
So Jax with carbine, yep. Does she is she more likely to want to go with Rack if we're naturally going into pairs? Does she have a particular care?
I think, truthfully, they'd probably rather split up because they're both actual soldiers, and your group's a bit more mixed.
That is very true. Soraya will grab Zoe if that's okay. No, yeah, Soraya,
Yeah.
sorry. And Soraya would like to take the guided. I think we talked about this before. It's pretty tasty.
Yep.
And she'll take a flechette pistol as well for clearing the house.
Casually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Zoe and Zoe. Cool. Agnar, do you want Jax or do you want Sammy or do you want to work? Do you want to go double Varga?
I think we know the answer to this question.
He'll sort of.
He won't be able to
sheepishly look
concentrate.
around and say, "Well, I mean, I don't mind. I don't mind who I get." And he edges slightly closer towards Rat, so they're sort of standing next to each other. I mean, anybody really is fine by me.
Oh, hang on, let me find the picture again.
Inching his way across, just whoever we're standing next to. How about that?
Yeah, shall we just do who we're closest to?
Pretty much.
Just to do it completely randomly.
That seems fairest. What a guy.
You know, if anyone's got any strong opinions who they'd rather go with, that's
Which me?
Yeah, Rack will also happily take one of your regular special carbines.
Which means Sammy will be with Jax then.
Cool.
What's Sammy's weapon skills? Can she use slug or is she laser?
Without leaning too much into the numbers, Sammy has a little bit of slug, but not a lot.
Okay. Well, she's welcome to take one if she wants. We've got the weapons.
She probably wouldn't think that she's the ideal carrier for one of the smart ones, but she'll carry a regular special. Yeah.
Good girl.
nice.
You've got full choice, Agnar. There's one of everything left.
Agnar will stick with his. I think he'll stick with his usual. So he'll stick with the shotgun and his own personal laser carbine. We don't have any laser stuff, do we? Is that what we were talking?
That's the only.
Yeah, that would be the only laser that anyone's carrying, except for some pistols.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he'll he'll just. No, I'm fine. I think I'm covered. I can't really carry much more. But that suits his skills.
Okay.
Perfect.
Then in that case, the logical way to do this, I think, is to say that the G carrier in the relatively early part of the night swings around the upper level of the planet's surface, past the back of Morse's pit. I would like first thing to do for Agnar and Rack to roll a leadership check with intellect, please.
Ooh. Oh, I do have leadership. I never use it.
You do have leadership. You've got skills.
Thanks, Luke. Thanks.
That's all right, mate. I've always thought that about you.
Ooh, that's pretty good. That's an 11.
Oh, that's good.
12.
Okay. Rack did less well, but still competently well.
I'll keep those dice in my pocket to
Keep them.
Posting a total of a 7.
It's my dice recap zone.
Which means, effectively, we're going to use the first of those boons. You've got 2 boons for the first group.
Mm-hmm.
Effectively, the leadership provided to them by their being dropped off by tactical experts with nous.
Yes.
We're going to use the first of them for your stealth drop. So effectively, we're going to use 1 each for the 2 of you.
Okay.
So we need Stefan and Kara to each make a stealth plus dex check with a boon. You don't have to use the boom if you don't want to. If you want to use it later,
Stealth plus what? Sorry, Dex.
plus Dex. Yeah.
Oh, that's 0 plus 0. I think I'm going to use my boom.
Oh,
Oh,
why
could be
did you
used
give me the
later.
Why did you give me the
Oh
option?
no!
um,
God, oh, don't do this to me, Ben. I'm
I'll
saving
tell
it.
you what. Yeah, Stefan's going to save it as well.
I'm going to put it in the dice rehab zone though, so it can get some powers. Come on. That's an important role. Not like asking for extra food in the nunnery.
That's a 7 plus 3 is a 10.
Oh, well done.
Lovely.
That's good. That's good. Oh, for rack. Oh, oh, that's nice. A boon for rack. A 9 plus 0 plus zip.
Wonderful. Okay.
Sparrow coming through.
As the G carrier hums off into the distance, you've both retained your boons, and you have no reason to believe that you've alerted anyone to your presence. And the G carrier is now going to make a long and winding sweep around away from everything and come in from completely the other side. So while that's happening, the two of you are going to start making your route, creeping along the top in the night to get closer and closer to the heavy weapon. So,
of course, we'd like to spend 10 minutes without moving. If that's okay.
Sheet over the top of us.
Yeah, let it settle. Let it settle in a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
yep, absolutely. You wait for a little while, and then give each other a little nod, and then start to move. So, the distance you've got to cover is about 800 meters. At what distance are you planning to take your shot?
Is there somebody? There's somebody there at the minute.
If you're waiting there for 10 minutes, actually, give me a recon check. And you can have intellect with that.
Okie dokie.
Oh, before he does, can we both take? I've got loads of starlight drops. Can I give us both the starlight drop, please?
Yes, you absolutely can.
They're good. They'll give us better eyesight, Ewan.
Ah, thanks.
Now, remind me what the bonus is on starlight drops.
Oh, don't. I need to go and get. Hang on. I need to go and get the book. I got a feeling. Bear with me a second. Go. Keep everyone entertained. Do a little dance or something.
Sure. We'll put on a little show for them. Yeah. So for those who aren't aware, and I can't remember the numbers, of course, which is why I've sent Luke on his mission. Starlight drops are literally eye drops that give you kind of night vision.
I found the page quickly though.
Through your eyes. Oddly apposite at the moment, since literally yesterday I was in the doctor having eyes drops.
Getting starlight drops.
Weird when you think about it.
These eye drops enhance the traveller's vision. I found it straight away. Enhance the traveller's vision dramatically by adding a few drops of the stinging liquid into each eye and waiting for the burning sensation to pass. The traveller gains it always does. I wear contact lenses. I know it well. The traveller gains the infrared vision trait. The effects of the drug last for an hour. No, 1D hours. During which time the traveller's eyes take on a silvery and cloudy appearance. A drop out of starlight drops contains 6 doses, and I've got 34 droppers of the stuff. I got like months of
use them now
for this stuff.
I'll just use them all at once, and my pupils gonna be like shaking in the head, vibrating.
You've essentially got enough to fill a small hot tub.
Exactly, we're just bathing in it. Oh, no.
Okay. All right. So you each take those drops. Now, who wants to do a recon check?
Stefan will turn to Kara and he'll say, "Well, if I'm aiming this thing, do you want to spot for me? Do you want to see what's going on over there?"
I'll do my best. I'll have a mooch. She's got recon 0 at least, so at least I can always roll to flat.
And Ben, just out of curiosity, quickly, if I'm looking through a scope, I'm assuming there would be no detrimental effect to having these eye drops. I mean, I don't think
None
Stefan's ever
whatsoever.
taken them before, and
The
also
reality
looking
is,
through a
when
scope.
you're peering through the scope, it won't offer much of an advantage. If that makes sense.
But it won't be bad.
Because the scope already offers similar capabilities. In fact, slightly superior capabilities, as it turns out. But it certainly won't have any detrimental effect.
Cool.
Right, so am I rolling then? Am I having a scope while was that the thing? While Stefan was.
You are rolling a recon check with intellect.
Oh, thank goodness for that. Okay. That makes it a whole lot easier. And I'm glad it did, Ben, because I just hit a 6 plus 2 is 8. It's all about her intellect.
Okay. At this distance, you are unable to detect whether or not it is manned. You don't have that information yet.
Kara will. Do we assume that our devices are quite private? So rather than talking, because we can contact each other silently. At this distance, we can whisper, but how are devices working?
The reality is that your communications will be largely secure, except from quite sophisticated hacking.
Yeah.
In very remote areas like this, it is possible that someone has set up some kind of EM probe to catch electronic communications. That would be an advanced tactic, shall we say, but it's not impossible.
Okay. Might leave off that unless I need it then. We're still quite close. We're still 800 meters away. So Kara will whisper, I can't see yet. We're going to need to shuffle closer. Should we get another 100 meters? Should we take our time and see what we can do?
Yeah, let's make our way carefully.
You say the sniper rifle has a range of 600, doesn't it?
Yeah, what have I got? I've got laser sniper rifle, 600 meters, scope, 0G is what I've got right now.
Since the quarter range number, which is one of the things you use as bonuses for taking shots, would give 150. I'm going to suggest we move in 150 meter, not 100 meter increments.
Okay.
That makes sense.
And we'll do that from 600, if you see what I mean, which means the first one is going to be 200 to get us to 600. Okay?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So each of you, I need you to roll a stealth check with Dex, please. You're taking it very carefully. You remember, you each have a boon you can use at any time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in general, early, though. The rolls are going to get a little bit tougher the closer you get if the weapon is manned.
That's what I thought.
That makes sense.
I'm hoping that even a slight fail won't be an absolute disaster. Oh, that's okay though. Another 9, different 9, but a 9.
That's an 8 plus stealth and dex, which is an 11.
Okay. You move forwards to the point where you are taking a little bit of a pause. You can now have another look if you want to see if there's a person there, or if you think you've got a chance of doing so.
Is that to 600, do you say?
Yep, you're now at 600.
I just realised Kelly typoed. I thought she was just saying something about the boobs. I just realised that boobs. I was like, oh, with Kara. She just talked about how lovely Kara was. So I just thought she was actually referring to the use of boobs and like jumping at them with her boobs. But
yeah,
the fact that I
from orbit, it's the only way to be sure.
The fact that I accept it totally as let's attack them with the boobs. It just says a lot, really. Yeah, sorry. Stefan's the man at this sort of range, isn't he?
Yeah, but you were going to check to see if the position was occupied.
Cool.
So that's a recon with intellect.
Does Kara just looking around with eye help at all? She doesn't have the sights, so she's the bad one to check. She can look. She's got a camera with a zoom, but she hasn't got.
Oh, my apologies. I assumed.
That
No,
she had the bin.
she's
Yeah.
she's got a laser carbine. She's got a sight, but
The laser carbine has the scope trait. She can use that.
okay, then that's what I'll use then, please. So
Stefan looks over it and says, "Why didn't Sarai give you the binoculars?"
because she might need them down there.
Shakes his head.
She's given me the TDX. She's given me plastic. She gave me a pat on the bum as I walked off. She gave me all I need. All I need.
It's not your fault. I'll just remind me to have words with.
I got the
Sarai.
starlight drops. Exactly. What more do I need? I can see I can see the future right now. I'm so high.
And rope and duct tape.
Exactly. Rope and duct tape.
Everything you need for a Friday night, really.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Drugs, rope, duct tape,
Yeah.
glow
A
sticks,
sheet that looks
Glow
like
sticks.
rocks to throw over
Sheets.
you.
and the flare gun spelled FLAIR. We've got the flare.
The Ric
That's
Flair gun.
a wastedly good roll, I would say. It's a 10 plus 2 for my recon 12.
Okay. The you can't at this distance actually make out whether or not there is a person there, literally. However, you, after sort of reaching your new position and checking it, the weapon is not pointing in exactly the same direction it was before. It's not pointing at you, but it's clearly been moved. So it implies strongly there is someone in that little covered position.
Okay. What with the fact we have to wear breathers anyway, and the fact that it's all sort of a long distance, Kara will still feel she can whisper that out to Stefan from what she's seen. I can't see a person, but the barrel of that gun has definitely moved. We've got to assume there's someone in there.
Okay.
And we're at 600 meters now.
You're at 600.
Okay.
Now, if you, the way this works now, you can take a shot from 600. The next benefit you get is at 150.
Oh, griff.
So it's up to you if you want to take a shot from here and see if you can't ping the person, because you can wait until you catch a glimpse of them, kind of thing, in the cover. You can take a shot and see if you can ping them from here. If you want the bonus, it's going to be 450 meters closer, and that bonus is only a +1 over where you are now.
Okay. I guess Stefan will turn to Kara and he'll say, "Sorry, I almost said Soraya then. That's force of habit."
That's okay.
Is,
Stefan and Soraya work very well together,
yeah,
to be honest.
Yeah. Is it pointing directly away from us? Is it heading down towards the front of the? Can you tell?
Can I tell, Ben?
It's loosely pointing to the right from your perspective.
It's loosely pointing to the right.
is that Ben? Is that the way that the carrier went off?
It is, but by this time that carrier has gone all the way around and is about to be dropping off people almost opposite from where you are.
Yeah. Okay. He'll hold off and he'll see if it continues to move, I guess, in that direction as we make our next stop. If it's just rotating towards the front,
okay,
and right, it was.
I mean,
yeah.
you understand there is no benefit to you getting any closer until you hit 150 meters.
Yeah, it's a long way to go.
Yeah.
And at that point, we're making a run on it. Let's put it that way. You're pinging him, and we're making a run for the gun at that point. If you're getting to 150,
so it's a risk.
The
What do you think, Kara?
I wonder if do we need to give the other guys a chance to sort of get down and get in their pairs and make contact with us, because the second if we shoot this guy, is your sniper rifle silenced, Stefan?
Not that I'm aware.
So the second that gets fired, that's when things kick off, right? We've got one shot at this. We got one shot silent, and then it all goes live.
That's a laser sniper, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, then it's okay.
Indeed, yeah.
You'll be able to hear it 3 feet away, but
Okay.
not 300 yards away.
Oh, good. So it's not a it's not a slug. That's assuming there's one person in there, and it's not a two-man gun.
Yeah, but you're right. I mean, as soon as it's fired, I would assume that anybody certainly out there.
She's made
the
of glass,
heavy
Kelly.
artillery will
Stop
know
sending her
that.
to a death. Kara's the weakest character we got. That's why I took her up on a sneaky. I pretended to be brave, but I took her up to be sneaky and away from all the danger.
Away from all the fun.
With a man with a stand with a man with a sniper rifle. Just feed him full of drugs and just hide behind him. That's the Kara way. It's a long way to go. 150 to get the. So do we? I feel like we. Can I philosophize about how low?
I'm not so worried about getting to a more beneficial range, Stefan will say, but it's just more. I don't know, maybe being closer for. Should we need to rush, or buying them a little bit more time to get closer before we distract the thing? Maybe.
I like the idea of getting to. I like the idea of trying to get to 400. It feels we're still caught in the middle, but if things happen down below, the gun's attention is going to be drawn down below. Do you know what I mean? And we can cover that ground.
That's not what we want, though.
It's not what we want. But 400. But the 400, you might be able to make out the guy inside. It's all about timing, isn't it? The dream is catching them just as they're turning the guns on the down below, so they don't even get to fire off a shot.
Let's push it another. Should we push it another?
Let's push it one more.
How far are we going?
Yeah, Kelly's trying to cause all sorts of. She's like a chaos agent. That's. Our chat's always full of chaos agents. Right. We're chaos agents.
Your next step, if you're okay, I mean, you don't have to do it this way, but the next step I had planned for you was 450.
Oh, that sounds fair.
Yeah, that's cool.
Is it 450, 300, 150? Is that what you're thinking, Ben?
Yes. Yeah. So 150 each time, because that would leave you with a 150 meter, which gives you the +1 range.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Perfect.
So move to 450. Yep.
Yep. So stealth and dex, please.
Oh, now the likelihood is 450 to 300 is going to be a really tough roll. How are we going to need to sneak that? What's Stefan's stealth? Oh, he's got +1 to his rolls and dex. If one person needs
+1 stealth and +2 dex.
If one person needs to go closer, it's got to be Stefan. I'm gonna take my boon at this point, Ben.
Okay.
Please. I am gonna drop a dice. So.
If nothing else, Kara can be an eyes-on kind of person, if that makes sense.
Yes.
And I'm glad I did. Well, it depends what dice it was, because I hit a 1, a 5, and a 6. So at least I hit a load. A 13. Kara's absolutely fine, but that 1 would have caused problems.
I got a 7 + 3 is a 10.
Okay. You crawl your way across, and when you get to 450 meters, you carefully peer at the mounting, and it doesn't appear you've been noticed.
Any news from the gun, Kara?
I'll give it a roll. Bear with me. Yeah, that's a good point, Ben. I think I'm guessing what Kelly just asked. If Kara sits back and takes aim, she could theoretically guide Stefan with a shot, could she? But I could make it worse. Is that something that could work as sort of a firing partnership? Or with the sniper rifle, not so much.
If the two of you are together,
I'm fine, by the way. My recon was good. My recon succeeded. Right, it's at 11.
Okay. You know what? I would be tempted to give you a chain advantage on recon with intellect if you're with the sniper.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So effectively, you can point out the exact, outline of the target and differentiate things that are not actually to be shot at.
Yeah, that's cool.
And
If we're together though,
but you'd have to be together. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so 11 for the recon, Ben, from 450.
Mm-hmm.
Getting all my good rolls in now.
The barrel of the weapon has moved a little bit again, but inches, if that. It's more that it's been tipped down a bit this time, but it doesn't seem to be trained on anything. It's as if the person inside, just wandering around and peering out in various directions, trying to do a job of lookout, is from time to time shifting the weapon as they move. It really is that simple. It doesn't look like an aggressive kind of thing. It doesn't look like it's being trained on anything or pointed at anything yet.
Do you wanna find out how close the other people are, or should we?
Let's see what
a shot, or
let's see what the other guys are doing. I think that if they can get down, when we were at the G carrier, when we were first at the G carrier looking around, then where were they positioned? Were they positioned on the ground? They were positioned on the ground, weren't they? How far away from the place? Because I'm guessing therefore they could get back to that position without any grief.
Yes, and the nature of the sort of rock piles in front of the cliff mean that if they can get within, let's do the actual maths here. It's about around about 25 to 35 meters to the near side of the rock piles for them. So because of the height and complexity of those piles, if you were dealing with closing in, you could probably get away from direct line of sight of the barrel about 200 meters out.
Okay.
So their movement will be considerably easier.
Cool. So the G carrier can get to how close, sorry?
The G carrier can get effectively to the lip of that overlooking crater.
Yeah.
That's about 400 meters.
Okay.
So you then need to cover something like 200 in order to find at least partial cover behind the rocky mine leavings outside the entrances.
No, that's not something we don't want 6 people running 200 meters with a big gun potentially firing at them.
Yeah, that seems like the point of us being here.
So if we can take the shot, we want to make sure that they're ready to make that run, I feel, before we take the shot. But either we take a shot or we draw the gun's attention away for another reason, I guess. But yeah.
So the logic says you get your other 6 people
ready to
into
run
position on that ridge.
Yeah.
When you guys take the shot, you either eliminate the threat or at least attract the attention of the threat, and then those guys can run into their position. That's the theory.
Yeah, sounds. I think that sounds about right, doesn't it? You've
got
to give them enough time to at least get that 200 meters.
Wait for the gun to start turning towards us, or as you say, the attention to be drawn away.
That sounds completely logical. Okay. So for now, are you taking the shot from 450?
Do you want to check in and find out where they are?
Yeah. Can we?
Just drop a message.
Yeah,
In theory.
The quietest way we can potentially do it, I guess, is drop a text.
Does that make a headache for them?
No, that's fine.
No. Kara will drop a text through saying, we have eyes. WRU ? No emojis tonight though. She's in serious mode.
She gets a response from Zoe. Says, on ridge, ready.
Okay. Carol sent a message back saying, well, she'll look at Stefan first and saying, do you want to do it from here?
Yeah. I think we haven't been seen, right? I don't think there's a massive advantage to be gained from.
We'd have to take two more steps. Out of game, I've used my boon. In game, Kara be like, I feel like I've ridden my luck a little bit here. I'm getting to the edge of my skills. I'm getting to the edge of my skills.
Right.
If you don't feel comfy getting closer, you've got to go 300 meters closer to get this.
Let's take it from here.
I feel like I can run 400 in under a minute if it all goes to hell. If that makes sense. It's doable.
Yes.
So especially with the adrenaline pumping.
It actually makes perfect sense to me. Okay.
So Kara will then send a message down to Zoe, just saying 3.2.1. And look at Stefan before she sends it, waiting for his nod, I guess.
So, because we don't do this kind of thing all that often. In fact, we don't do combat all that often.
We don't. I'm quite excited tonight.
Just a couple of sort of quick reminder for Stefan. He has a number of viable options here. The most important thing he's probably got to do is take his +5 that he can get for sitting out an entire combat round plus a bit more taking careful aim.
Yeah, because he can do that. Of course he can.
Yeah, stack aim.
Yeah, because he's got no reason to hurry his shot, if you see what I mean.
Sure.
So he gets that +5. He gets +0 for range. He gets -2 for cover.
Yeah.
So that will add up to essentially a total of +3. And then obviously he can have his laser skill.
Yeah.
And for this kind of weapon, his dex.
Perfect. Which is another 4. So
okay. So effectively that's a +7. Now, does the weapon give you any other bonuses? Is it an off-the-shelf sniping rifle, or is it a custom one or anything?
It's got a scope. It's got 0G, which I don't think is particularly relevant.
No, though. To be fair, because it's not something I actually thought about, but this is something where your eye drops will help. Yes. Because the perimeter is a rock wall. So you can keep your other eye open and use it to track the person.
Yes.
By their heat.
Is there any use of Kara spotting at this point?
So that I will give you a +1 for. So that's up to a total of what, +8?
Yeah.
Okay, +8. Now, Kara,
Yes.
you can do recon with um, intellect.
Oh, she's so smart. It's the best thing about Kara, Kelly, and for anyone else watching. Kara's best checks come when there's intellect or education, computing or talking. So she gets helped out. If I have to carry something or shoot something, it's not so good. Right, there we go. So recon is 0. At least I've got this. Important to get 0, as Kelly will know from Old Traveller. But intellect's a +2, so here we go. I know. Strength, though, and I did put all her weak stuff. If she gets shot as well, she'll bleed out very quickly. She's not got many rounds to her. One shot will pretty much put her down if it gets through the armour. And the second will probably kill her, so she's quite... Okay, good. 8 + 2 is 10.
Okay, that gives a total of +10 to Stefan's shot. And he's got a boon he can use.
He is going to use his boon because,
I feel that is wise.
Seems like the right time to use it, if I'm honest.
Oh, let's hope he gets big, because of course you will add that to your damage.
Yes.
There could be a good damage add.
Right. We're all done.
Oh,
So
that
you
could be the way.
rolled an 11.
Oh,
The other dice was a 1, so I'm glad I used the boon.
Okay, so that's a total of 21, yes?
Which I think is,
Okay.
kind of unheard of.
What's the damage on the laser
oh
sniper rifle?
my goodness.
The laser sniper rifle is a 5d + 3.
Okay. Can you roll?
We've done things the right way, I feel.
Yeah, we've set this up, to be fair.
Yeah, we did spend the last hour
so-
setting that up, yeah.
Sorry, let me do the maths again. You rolled a total of 21, did you?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, total of 21. Okay. So your over is 13. Yep.
So 5d
Okay.
+ 16.
So it's 5d + 16, please.
Oh man, I feel bad now.
You don't know what their armor's like yet.
Yeah, that's true. Ben did say we were going to hit some more heavily armoured people.
That is very true. Right. So that is 9, 18.
Oh, that's good.
20 plus.
That's above average.
Did you say 16?
36?
36.
Okay, I don't think we've ever had anything like a 36 before.
No, never got above early 20s, I don't think.
No.
That's amazing.
Okay. You're quite right. By setting it up this way and stacking everything in your favour. Right, 36. That is... Okay. Narratively, there is absolutely no way to describe this other than headshot.
Yes.
You watch through your eye drops as the single silhouetted IR target in the enclosure seemingly doesn't react at all to being hit by the laser. And if you sort of thought just for a second, did I miss? It didn't feel like I missed. It was just because it takes a while for gravity to begin to visibly accelerate people. The figure drops like a sack of potatoes, crumples into the sort of protective nest on the cliff top, and then because you have quite sophisticated equipment, you can see that in the thin, chilly air, it's already beginning to get just a little fraction cooler.
Yes. Is that, from looking through it with eye drops, is that the only obvious heat source in there, Ben?
Yes, that's the only one you can see.
Kara presses send.
Okay. All right. Now, what I'm going to do, because we're going to basically call that now. We're not going to do the rest of the combat tonight, as I'm sure you can appreciate,
That makes a lot of sense.
because that would be a lot of stuff. What I'm going to suggest, however, is this: if I um, do this.
Oh, hang on. Let me get rid of the resplendent rack. Hang on.
Okay.
Okay, good. Done it. Yep.
Now, obviously, this is going to need a key because this is a very two-dimensional version of a three-dimensional world. So, in essence, what you have here are three quite large piles of spoilings and rubble.
Yeah.
In front of what are two airlock-style entrances into the building, both of which are sort of in dark red.
Yep.
Yeah.
The floor of the cliff, the floor in front of the cliff is the brown textured stuff.
Yep.
The dark grey, whether it's covered with the boxes or not, is all cliff top.
Got you.
And the little black dot is the firing position that you've just engaged.
Sure.
Got you. So we've got it's so that's next to what looks like the main entrance, and then off to the left is a smaller
It is only
entrance.
a little bit away from it sideways, but it is considerable number of
Higher.
meters above it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Because those two entrances are effectively on the floor of the bottom of the cliff face.
Yeah.
Got you.
Oh, stupid cat. Sorry, I'll get the cats.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just wanted to show you that. I know we're not going to fight this through right now, but I just wanted to show you that so you've got in your mind the layout. It may help you with your planning and understanding. Okay.
It's good to know. And where would the rest of the team are starting? Very at the bottom or further off from the bottom? What are the squares?
The rest of the team,
are
because
far off.
of what you've just achieved,
Yeah.
there are no other openings in the cliff face other than those airlocks.
Yeah.
So the rest of your team, as
400
soon as you splashed the person in the weapon nest up top,
yeah,
they can literally run to take their positions in their pairs,
yeah,
however you want to disperse them, behind these rocks.
Fantastic.
So if you give some thought roughly to where you want them to be, or whether you want to all pile in through one or split your forces or whatever,
yeah,
give that some thought in the downtimes.
Yes, so we're ready to go next week.
And we'll come back knowing how you want to disperse them. But effectively, you will have a blind cliff face to look at next time.
Perfect. I'm looking forward to it, Ben.
Okay.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I liked the strategic planning of this one. It was good.
Yes, it felt different somehow to the other things that we've done this sort of way, didn't it?
So I'll be honest, and this is people won't know this because well, some people might know this that have been around for a while. When we first started playing Traveller, and this is something that Kelly, who's gone to do family stuff, would be aware of. Someone that's played Traveller 30 years ago or whatever, when we first started playing Traveller, Ben introduced us to OG Traveller. The little black books with the red writing. Lovely. On the what was our ship again? The Ice Comet?
The Ice Comet, yes.
The Ice Comet cometh. And this reminded me most of, do you remember when we were on that planet and the Duke or whatever it was came up and down that hill every now and again with his phalanx of guards?
Yes.
And we had to hold a little base position at the top of that hill from incoming people.
Yep.
And in that, I think my character jumped over the edge and skulked around in bushes while people were shooting around, and she was trying to get. To me, it felt more like that than anything we've had on our campaign so far. It was more strategic and sort of. It was not full out shooting at people, but it was that manoeuvring strategically. I got a real flashback. Yes. Flashback to 2 years ago, mate.
It is. It's a long time ago that when we first started with Classic Traveller, as you say, OG Traveller.
OG Traveller. Wait a sec. No, 3 years. 3 years ago. No, hang on. It was
2 years
summer
ago, roughly.
summer of 2019. 2.5 years. We
Yeah,
ran that from summer 2019 till early 2020. Lockdown 2020. Rolled up characters 2020. Yeah.
It'll soon be summer again, though, and it'll be 3 years.
Ah, the summer. How time flies.
It's true. The days are definitely getting longer again.
That's it.
Yeah.
And the weeks are getting shorter.
That's old age.
Yeah, I've heard. That's what my mum said when I messaged her earlier. Said the week's gone so fast. So don't say that. It means you're getting old.
When you get to my age, it's Christmas every 45 minutes.
Oh, terrifying. What a terrifying thing to think about. No, that was good, Ben. Thank you. And
That was.
I see there's some bobbling with old mate. When we finished here, we've got a couple of threads to follow, especially through this PSP and the slavery. You're like pulling threads that me and you and are prone to go running into. So we've got the Resplendent Rack's house. We've got the Slavery Corporation. We've got the PSP. All sorts of magic.
Yes, potentially.
Potentially, of course. We might all be dead by the end of next week, for all we know.
Well, it's quite possible.
It's possible.
Very true.
Combat's very deadly.
Kara, though.
They're just going to wander off back to
It'll just be
town.
them two.
I quite like it,
Carrying
yeah.
on.
Just in the memory of all the others.
You're actually going to have time probably to get them within a couple of 100 meters as well, while the group downstairs, so to speak, advance. So can the group upstairs.
Oh, take over the gun just in case.
Could be useful.
Could be useful. Oh, what a joy. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you very much.
That brought a strange joy to my life this evening. It must be said. I enjoyed this evening. It was very pleasant.
Well, I'm very glad you did.
Always do, but it just felt nicer tonight. I don't know why. It felt resplendent, but sneaky. My two favourite things.
There was a lot of resplendence.
There was a fair degree of resplendosity, yes. this time.
Basically, anytime I can use Starlight Drops, I'm happy.
Yeah,
So
is that the first time? No, you've
second
used them
time.
before,
I used them did I use them when we went down? No, the hex things, because I'd have used them if I had them. I've got a feeling I used them somewhere before. Maybe on Osin.
Yeah, with the eel.
No, I picked them up on Osin. I picked them up on Osin, I think. So
yeah. Something makes me think it may have been the Moho mine.
Yeah, I think that's possible. When it all went pear-shaped, that feels about right. Oh, that's one for the OG fans. That's before we even started.
That's actually before the stream, yeah.
Oh God, all this stuff we talk about, like old men, back the olden days.
I know. Back in my day.
Back before we even started streaming. Speaking of streaming, we've got more streaming happening. Not tonight, people. Oh, before we do that, should we do a Rose's Cat before we talk about the future?
Oh,
Spez, are you around? Spez, are you around? Sparrow did Rose's Cat.
Excellent. Yes,
and
I can do Rose's Cat.
Let me put my fish. I've got my fish hat tonight, so it's on.
Oh yeah,
the new tradition.
The fish hats.
The geeker hat. I feel a little bit like I've joined the Masons every time I put this hat on.
Fishy.
A little bit like I've put my trouser legs are rolled up as it is because it's so hot in here.
Okay. Meanwhile, on the Baltic Star, Rachel Axis was giving some thought to some cat legends, mythology, psychology. She'd done a little research and, armed with secret purpose, grabbed some tape and went to Rose's stateroom. On the way, she passed Kronsorama, her deputy. He was doing one of the regular inspections of ship systems and simultaneously acting in his secondary capacity as transport for a dozing kitten, nestled in the top of his vac suit at the back of his head. The kitten was clearly quite sleepy, probably a consequence of the hours she'd recently spent charging around the ship like a mad thing chasing a blue laser dot. She never seemed to work out that the dot was being deployed by different people throughout the ship, that every time it disappeared, it manifested itself moments later near a different person. The game kept the cat fascinated and was quite entertaining for the crew, but it gave Axis an idea. Given proper consideration, cats could no doubt be trained, like all other domesticated mammals. So far, at least, Caboodle seemed to have been training the crew. It was time to reverse the direction of instruction. It was in the stateroom that Caboodle usually often on Rose's bed. Generally, this was encouraged by the way the crew always fed the cat in Rose's room, and whenever there were new things to entertain a kitten, they were placed there as well. The animal had largely free run of the ship, in practice, because she simply didn't obey instructions and was nimble enough to slip through doors and hatches before they were closed. Humans weren't equipped with the dexterity required to prevent a determined cat from reaching any unsealed part of the Baltic Star. Not that Caboodle was being deliberately problematic. Far from it. She simply wanted to be wherever she wanted to be, and she would brook no insolence from mere hominids in this matter. But Axis, chief engineer, considered that she, at least, would not be a helpless bystander in the life of the cat. No, she would learn how the tiny animal could be controlled, managed, motivated. In short, the kitten was now either a crew member or a component of the ship. Either way, it needed to be placed under the administration of the engineering department. She, Axis, would train the cat. Inside Rose's stateroom, Axis dropped to her knees, pulled out her tape, and began work.
Nice.
Don't threaten me with a good time, Ben. It was a good role. Yeah, it was a very good role.
Yes, it really was. It ended up, what was it, 36?
36.
Yeah, and that was a 36 after the after the 8 was taken off.
Ridiculous. Okay, we've got fish hats on there. They're the hats for the Geek of Geeks, Sarai's favourite buckyball, which is space cricket team. We just watched them play on our last series of missions. We've got the hats, and now we're wearing them for some reason. I can't remember why. Every time Rosie's cat. Rosie's cat is an option you can give, Kelly, and anyone else, which Sparrow generally calls for. It's like a tradition, which is a little side story about Rose, who's one of our NPCs, had a cat who's staying aboard our main ship, which you can see on our graphics on the top right hand, the Baltic Star. And the cat is on there while it's being refurbished. So Ben will tell a chapter about the adventures of the cat on the Baltic Star, who's at the moment being looked over after mostly by the two engineers, who I love, but are really gruff and never want to come and do anything. But I love them for that. They're like the uncle that you love, but never never smiles when you're around, but you love them anyway.
Begrudgingly.
Yeah, but you know
it's all sort of part of our idea that it's nice if there's some extra background and texture to the universe, kind of thing. It's what it comes from, and
so
because
like
they're quite fun and very silly little bedtime stories, really.
Yeah, very much a lot of fun.
I think so.
And I'm pretty sure the fish hats are literally because they're just fish happen to be on Geeker, and it's a cat.
It works very well.
Yeah.
The Geek of Geeks.
Absolutely.
Oh, wow. That's our traveller for the week. We've got other things, though. We've got other things this week, guys. We do 4 things a week, and this is just number 2. This was just number 2.
It's true.
We've got 2 more.
What's happening tomorrow, Luke?
Tomorrow, I'm going to flash the graphic. Hang on a sec, just so I can. Tomorrow... That's a good idea. It'll flash. It'll be weird because I've got blank bits because we're using Roll20 for graphics, which we don't normally do. We're using Roll20 for camera. We're playing a game called Pig at a Wedding, which is a bit different to our traveller adventure. It's a one-shot. Saturdays are like one-shot, quirky. Every now and again we play quite a miserable sci-fi game, but the rest of the time we do quirky one-shots or weird D&D stories and things like that. But like the old choose your own adventure book type things. Tomorrow we're playing Pig at a Wedding, which is a one-shot where I'm going to take that off the screen now. I am the master of ceremonies. That's why so I'll be down there. Sparrow, Ben, and Ewan are playing. They're all guests at a wedding, or they're gate crashers. It's up to them. It is the wedding of two people who are their enemy in some way, which they will decide. And for some reason, they want to ruin the wedding. And the way they're going to ruin the wedding is by unleashing a pig. And the game is about them trying to ride their luck and tempt fate a lot, I guess, but unleash the pig at the wedding before the wedding guests realize that there's a pig there and ruin it all. And that's the game. And that's what we could do for a couple of hours. So,
Do they have to be our enemies, Luke? Because I've come up with I think I've got at least one reason where they're not my enemy, but I still want to do it.
I think that's fine because there's three of you. They could be Ben's deadliest enemies, whereas they could be yours for another reason.
Yeah,
The three of you will
I've
have
got a
different
couple
reasons.
of options.
Yeah.
I'm just double checking that.
So the three of them are going to choose how they're connected to the couple. Then on the night we're going to roll what kind of pig they found, and we're also going to roll your strengths and weaknesses. I'm going to there's a load, and I'll work out a way of doing it that's kind of fun. And then
Cool.
I'll explain it. It takes about 5-10 minutes to explain, and then we'll just be silly for a couple of hours, which we like to do in our one shots. Yeah, hopefully.
It's so unlike us.
It's so unlike us.
We're
It's from-
normally so serious.
And measured.
Oh, absolutely.
It was from a book. What's it called? The book's called The Ultimate Role Play Book or something. It was a book with like 50 little one shots in it that are just a load of some quite serious ones, some ridiculous nonsense things that just look quite fun. So we can do that tomorrow. That's our Saturday.
Yeah.
Sounds perfect.
And
then what are you doing on Sunday, Luke? Because we have a tradition of something spooky on a Sunday. So are we doing something spooky on a Sunday?
we are doing something spooky on a Sunday. And if you bear with me, I might. Can we show? We probably can't show a trailer on our stream because we'll get unthingied, won't we? I was going to be all clever, but I think we probably can't do it. We are going to play. So Sunday is Spooky Sunday. We play spooky games, and we've done Alien, we've done Until Dawn, we've done Man of Medan. The second one in that series, Ben, I'm unsure about, just because anything to do with, you know me personally, anything to do with demonic stuff is for me, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, and that's what that is. It's witches and demons and stuff. So I'm going to look more into it, I guess. So instead, I'm going for Celtic demons and Pictish demons. That's slightly different. And we're playing Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice on Sunday.
That's a good idea from Kelly, though. Can you chuck the trailer on the Discord?
Yes, good idea. I'll do that. I'll do it very soon, actually. You play a game. You play a young lady, and her partner, I think, has been kidnapped or something. It's all based around like Viking, Pict, Celtic. You play a young Pictish woman to rescue her lover, I guess. But it was written with mental health experts. It's all about mania and mental health stuff. It's really quite fascinating, actually. I've played the first hour and a half before, but like I do with all games, I start them and never finish them. And this will give me a reason to really kick on. It looks beautiful. I think it stands up beautifully, even though it's a few years old, and it's really haunting. Yeah, I'll put it on the Discord, Kelly, and we'll look at it. I think it's really good. So Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice will be on Spooky Sundays for the next few weeks, at least.
Excellent.
And yeah.
And that is the end of our 4-day weekend that we do each time.
Yeah.
So tomorrow is pigs, and Sunday is Celts. And then we resume normal service on Thursday again.
Thursday, yeah. Everyone gets a few days off.
Yeah.
What more could you need in life? Fantastic.
Yeah. Wonderful. Well, thank you very much, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you for everyone who turned up and watched and contributed in chat and made it so so lovely to be part of.
Yeah.
And we'll be doing this the next episode of the Traveller campaign same time next week. And I might do a BTS on Thursday. If that's okay.
Oh. Wait,
Nice.
you're barging into my occupation?
I'm afraid so. I don't want to because I'm loving occupation, but I feel it's time for me to grab one. Sorry.
That's all right. I might just start another load and play through it again just to remind myself of what I'm doing. If I go 2 weeks without a game, I forget it all.
And for
perfect.
anyone who's not familiar, have we gone through BTS before?
No.
It's behind the screens, which is Ben doing some DM tips, some history of TTRPGs, some all-round heartwarming stuff. I think.
It's always
Is there
heartwarming.
anything I missed there, Ben?
It's
some
random
quality
musings on tabletop role-playing games.
Yeah, but some quality DM tips
and
some
history and everything. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
So I do these occasionally. I think it's number 9 coming up. But if you're
Sounds
interested in them, there are clips and parts of them and actual previous ones in our back catalogue on YouTube and on Twitch. No, the summary was actually done as a separate thing, Kelly. We did that a couple of weeks ago as a sort of just a little throwaway piece. But the behind the screens ones are
full on streams.
It runs about an hour, doesn't it? From about 11 till midnight.
Typically an hour to an hour and a quarter, roughly, depending on the one. And they're done more like a magazine show, so they're little segments in each one.
It was good, Kelly. It gave a nice brief overview of where we're at. It didn't give you all the characters, broad brushstrokes.
It didn't give you all the rubbish that Luke and I get up to that isn't me talking about.
All the good. It got rid of all the good stuff and just kept the boring stuff.
As Luke says, the broad brushstrokes were there.
No brunch. Anyone that watched that wouldn't realise how much you love brunches for a start.
Well,
that's right.
Exactly.
I'm not even sure brunch was mentioned. Might have been once, but
it
really wasn't a focus, was it?
Were any Tims mentioned?
Oh, I can't remember now.
Oh, yeah, the slides are good.
I'm gonna have to watch it back.
Just check for brunches and Tims.
I'll do a Tim count.
Do a Tim count. Count the Tims. Okay, I guess that's us then.
That's it for tonight. Thank you.
Let's go to Discord. I'll post that trailer for that game, and tomorrow at 11, isn't it? It's another 11 o'clock.
11 UK time for some
just giving up sleeping.
Wedding pig shenanigans.
Oh, keep talking. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you for joining us for the first time. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Come back sometime. We really loved having you around, and you added a lot. I think you're now a crew member. Anyone that chats and joins us in is definitely a crew member. So you're now a crew member. And thank you to the lurkers. We love you. Thank you to those that just float around. We love you. Thank you to everyone that VOD'd to the end. You're why our VOD numbers are going up so much. You vodders.
Everybody, have a good night.
Yes. See you, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.